As many of you know, the Select Board adopted a new policy, wow, these are allowed, adopted a new policy that all of the boards and committees and commissions that they appoint should hold an open forum at the beginning. And so we can put this for 10 minutes. I don't see many people here, so I think this will be fine. Yeah, I was going to call on you. If I saw a lot of people, I'd have to say, it's only going to be 10 minutes, and then you can be at the end of the meeting. So why don't you come up, Joanne, introduce yourself and give your address for the record and let us know what's on your mind.
Yep, thank you. Joanne Aramini, 7 Meadow Road. Looking over your agenda under Planning Department updates.
Again, I have to write down your address, so.
Oh,
Okay.
7 Meadow Road.
7 Meadow Road, I
Sorry.
got it.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Looking over your agenda for today under Planning Department updates, I don't see anything listed for the Otis Street project. And I'm just wondering if you could give some explanations at today's meeting when you get to that part. It looks like the project has started, and my understanding was originally that this project was going to start at the intersection, because that is a very dangerous intersection, big safety issues. And from what I'm hearing now, it's starting at the other end. So I'm just wondering why we are starting at that end versus the safety part.
Well, we will get to the updates when Kristen's with planning updates, but just quickly, I have no idea. But
That's
I
fine.
didn't even
I can
know.
wait
I
for
didn't
them.
even know that. But
I knew it was starting today, but that was the extent of my knowledge, so you're
Thank
ahead
you.
of us.
thank you.
I knew they were cutting trees today. That's
So I guess that's it for open forum. Is there anybody else here for open forum? Okay. So I sent out meeting minutes. They were well vetted. Kristen, Don, and myself all added some comments. I thought they looked great by the time I got them. So I'm going to entertain a motion to accept the meetings from our minutes from our meeting.
I had one that,
You have one thing?
yeah, if you go to the Lexington, about the mass legislation, it didn't seem to flow quite right now.
Where are you? Tell me. Lexington example item, that one?
No, the one that has about the mass legislature and,
That can't be it, that's the end. Was it about the,
yeah, this one. Decision to wait to see what Mass does,
the legislature is considering changes? Yeah, there's a period missing there.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of May 11th, 2026.
Any second?
second.
All right, all in favor? Everybody? Do we need a roll call on that?
I don't think we need a roll call.
Might as well?
No, we're good.
Oh, okay, all right, great. So this is really, we're really happy to have Jeff Howland with us from Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. And one of our goals that we presented to the Select Board this year is to investigate adopting a town-wide 25-mile-per-hour speed limit. And he's the expert on it and has gladly agreed to give us a little overview of it, answer any questions. And we do know DPW can't be here, but they're going to watch the recording. Yeah, so take it away.
Thank you. So, for the record, I am Jeff Howland. I am a senior transportation and planning engineer at Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Okay. Go there and click it. I'm really only going to use one slide. I am going to pass out the same presentation. I want this to be more interactive and cute question and answer. I'm going to give a brief introduction to what speed limits are and how they are established and how they can be enforced. So I'll start with that, but let me hand this out to you, which would be the same thing in the slide deck.
Oh, well, thank you, Jeff.
So you can use this for your later on.
Oh, this is the slide deck. think it's the slide deck, right?
I have it. Yeah.
She just doesn't have the hard copy.
So the first thing is to understand the difference between regulatory speed limits and statutory speed limits. There are two distinct limits that are, one is governed by MassDOT, speed zone, how to establish those. Those are, the regulatory speed limits are established by speed studies and then get approved by both MassDOT and the Registry of Motor Vehicles. Those are your black and white signs with black numbers, 30, 35. Those are the only areas where speed limits are allowed to be the black and white. Westborough only has 6 roads that have a legal speed limit that was established by a speed study. They are Flanders Road, Otis Street, Lyon Street, Mill Road, Lyman Road, and I just learned today, Route 30 from Lyman Street to the Southborough Town Line. That's actually what I had sent you, Chris, before. It was not in that list, but that is actually a holdover from when that portion of Route 30 was state highway, and so it got grandfathered as a regulatory speed zone. 135, the rest of 30 is not. They currently do not have a regulatory speed.
Just a question then. Does that
Sure.
mean that to the Southborough line is Town Road?
It is now a municipally owned state-numbered route. So 135, Route 30 are municipally owned, but they are state-numbered. Route 9, obviously your portion of 495, are state or federal highways. So those are state and maintained. And actually, there is a small portion of the connection road is also state-owned.
Connector, yeah.
Yeah, Connector Road, which is off of between Route 9 and Route 30.
So the blue on this,
Yes, that is correct. Those are state-owned, state-maintained.
Okay.
So those roads are, so you adopt the regulatory speed established by a speed study, an engineered speed study, and those, if the police can ticket using radar. There are statutory speed limits, which are established by Chapter 90, Section 17. Those are, the rest of the public roads are governed by the statutory speed limit. 50 miles an hour for a divided highway. Majority of your roads are going to be 40, which is the prima facie speed, which is what the definition is. Unless you are in a thickly settled zone, then the speed limit is 30, or a designated business district. But they has to be designated. It can't just be, well, we have a bunch of businesses, that's considered a business. It actually has to be established, say like Shrewsbury has the Lakeway Business District, with signs at either end designating the district. Then you could have a 30-mile-an-hour speed zone in that.
for density, and when you say, for the homeowners in the areas where it's dense, you have to meet a certain requirement?
Yeah, so thickly settled, the definition of thickly settled is you must have driveways for a minimum distance of a quarter mile, less than 200 feet, or 200 feet or less apart. counted on one side, so you can't have 3 on one side, 3 on another. All 6, or it worked,
Both
if you do the math, it works out to 6.6 driveways, so let's call it 6. Has to be on one side. Businesses do not count. So if you've got 5 houses, then you have a business, and then another, now in-house business, no, obviously it's still a residence. It's a resident. Thickly settled is considered for residents. Here are the school zones, which are 20 miles per hour, but school zones are only while kids are in session or when they would normally be walking to or from school. Massachusetts recently changed the statute on that, which it used to be, it had to be elementary or middle school. They've now allowed private schools and high school now counts. However, it's only on the road that it has its address on or that it fronts, and it must have a way for the kids to walk across the street through a crosswalk and sidewalks on the opposite side. So if you have a school with no crosswalk or no sidewalk on the opposite side, there's no reason to cross the road. There is no school zone under the statute.
So for the Westborough High School, the back entrance off of Flanders wouldn't count because it doesn't have a sign there.
Doesn't have a sidewalk, then it's not.
It has a sidewalk on the other side of the street, but not on that side of the street where the school is located, and there's no sign that says it's the Westborough High School either.
The sign doesn't matter, but it would have to have a crosswalk.
And there's no crosswalk.
So if there's not a
Which we tried
crosswalk,
to
it's not
do.
considered, that road does not then technically have a school zone.
We need the crosswalk before we can
So,
do the 20 per hour.
And then there is an allowance to have safety zones, but they're not difficult to obtain, but they do require a speed study to designate a safety zone, and then that also gets submitted to MassDOT. The town, when we were talking before for the Safe Streets for All discussion a couple months ago now, the town was interested in the 25 miles per hour municipal town-wide speed zone. That is only in thickly settled zones. It is not town-wide. There's a misperception. Though every town you go through, there's the sign that when you enter the town that there is a 25-mile-an-hour speed zone unless otherwise noted. And then there's always like a speed limit sign right behind it that says 40 or 30. It's only within thickly settled areas and in areas that does not have a regulatory speed. The regulatory speed trumps all other speed limits. So if you have a residential area that would be technically considered thickly settled, but it has a regulatory speed, the regulatory speed is what dictates, not the thickly settled.
Could we touch on thickly settled a little more
Sure.
so we can so I can grasp it a little more? So say like some of the downtown neighborhoods, let's say West Street, Church Street, Blake Street, there would be enough driveways for that. So it's 6.6 driveways per quarter mile
Correct.
on each side, or was it 3 and 3?
All you need to be classified as thickly settled is to have it on one side, but all those 6.6 has to be on one side.
Okay.
Let's say you had a block that only had 6 houses on it, then there was roads on either side. It starts getting complicated, or you'd have to really do the math, where to make sure that 7th drive or close is very close, but you already lose 50 feet with a right-of-way, so to make sure that it still meets it.
So I have a question. So I'm between 2 crossroads. I'm the only house that has a driveway on the main road. The other 2 houses have driveways on the side street.
Only yours count.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Correct.
So what if you have only like a small street, my street is small, and there's only 5 driveways
It is
on
not-
one side?
Yeah,
or
it's-
4 on one side. So
that
in
is-
that neighborhood could be 30, I'm sorry, that whole neighborhood could be 25, but my particular street would still be 30?
Technically, because it's not thickly settled, the prima facie speed's 40.
No, wouldn't it be 30?
No, unless it was considered thickly settled. So the prima facie speed, so majority of your roads, unless they are thickly settled, the speed limit is 40 by the statutory speed limits.
Well, that's insane for that road.
Yeah, now the town could put up warning signs. They're not enforceable, which are the yellow signs, the small yellow signs with the black numbers. Usually you put them on sharp corners, you put them at, other locations, but the police cannot enforce that sign. So you could put 25, but it's not enforceable.
Well, here's the thing, Julie's example. It's a whole grid that is thickly settled all the way around, like High Street, State Street,
Yeah.
the others,
Spring, summer.
Spring Street, all of them. It's a district where we were looking at 25 would be a good idea, because we've gotten requests over the years, hey, can you make our little street 25? And 25 totally makes sense for a lot of these requests.
Unfortunately, under the Mass General Law, it's Chapter 17, no. Now, again, unless they're thickly settled.
Unless they're what?
Less the road was thickly settled, and that would have to be determined. And so we tried to take your tax map and try to figure that out. It was more complicated than we thought it was going to be. But you would do that case by case. You could take a look at the road. In order for for Westborough to adopt the 25-mile-an-hour speed zone, it does require a town meeting vote, and then just a letter from the town administrator to MassDOT saying that the town has adopted Chapter 90, Section 17C.
Well,
And then Highway needs to put up signs at all of your major entries to town. With that, there's a standard sign, and if you go to Princeton, other towns have adopted it. I don't know why Princeton did, because they don't have a single road in town that qualifies, but they adopted it anyways.
how has it worked in other towns where it has applied? And what have you heard?
I think there's a misnomer. You adopt it and thinking that now, no matter where, it's 25-mile-an-hour speed zone. So there needs to be a learning curve of both the residents and other people who drive the road, because the reason that their speeds were set originally was that is what the majority of the people felt was the safe speed to drive at the time.
Okay.
I'll go back to the regulatory speed limits. You don't see many roads being studied to reduce the speed limits. Most of the ones that are at least in Central Mass, are from the 70s or early 80s. There really hasn't been any since. Mainly because people feel more comfortable driving now than they did in the 70s. And it's because the cars are lighter, they're easier to maneuver, they brake quicker, they handle easier, so speeds are a little higher. They're not abnormally high. I've done a lot of speed studies and found that the speed is pretty close to what either the posted or the statutory speed is. However, visually, it looks like the cars are going faster. Just because they're quieter, you don't hear them coming, they maneuver easier, and they're more sleek than they used to be. Before, if you could hear a car coming in 2 miles away, you don't hear that anymore.
Could it also be the background noise is so much louder too?
Could be.
Jeff, what are the implications? I know this is where I'm really, where things come together. What are the implications for a DPW, for our police department, fire department? What have you heard from other towns with these departments?
Well, I'll start with Public Works. It's just all their obligation to do would be put up new signs, which is not. Now, I did hear, just to kind of take one step back a little bit. So Massachusetts or MassDOT in the RMV are starting to, even though it's been a requirement for a long time, is to, on your black and white speed limit signs, you're now going to be required to put an additional sign underneath it. And if you look on your paper, or if you look on the screen, it now says Mass General Law, Chapter 90, Section 17. That's going to be a requirement so that the general public knows what statute that sign was established. That's been a requirement, but no one's ever done it. And now we're hearing from MassDOT that's going to start being enforced. So legally, if you get stopped in a regulatory speed and it does not have that, the state is going to start requiring, saying, no, the person didn't know that that was a statutory or a regulatory. Yep.
And just to add to it, what
Oh,
Jeff
hi,
was
Rob.
saying.
Oh, Rob Raymond from our office. I didn't know.
Oh, great.
Rob Raymond, Central Mass Regional Planning
Welcome.
Commission. And just to add, Jeff, sorry, Mass DOT currently has a program that they've extended where they're giving, I think, up to 10 signs for free to the communities under this to kind of help get the towns going in the right direction. I think they've just extended the deadline. So, you know, I can send that to you, Kristen, and just make sure. I don't think, from what I could see on the map, that Westborough had done that yet. So I can send that in, and you know, hopefully you can get some free signs out of it.
Is this free signs for this program or for anything?
That add that tag underneath.
Add the
Yeah.
tag, okay.
So we have to count how many speed limit signs we have and then order enough for all those signs.
Yeah, well, compliant, you probably don't have as many as you think.
Okay.
Non-compliant, you probably have quite a few. And in fact, I know you do. And I don't want to say that, well, Westborough put up signs just to put up signs, because every town has done it. So don't think it was just Westborough did it. Every single town. We're working in one town that about 10 of their roads are posted, and yet legally only one has a regulatory speed.
And is that for both regulatory and statutory signs, or just the
So
regulatory?
statutory, you don't really need to put up a sign at all. That's just because that's what the statute says. The regulatory is the one that should say, or, I mean, if you put up signs, you then have to put up where the Mass General Law, either Mass General Law, Chapter 90, 17, or if it's regulatory.
Wait a minute, so if it's a statutory sign, we don't have to put up the MGL?
No, you do.
Oh, you do?
Do, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, and the other thing with statutory, the police cannot use radar. They actually have to follow you for up to 1/8 of a mile before they can give you a ticket.
Suzanne, I think what I heard him say is the signs are not required in statutory, but if you have them, you need that tag.
That's correct.
Yeah, it goes like that.
That's correct.
Okay,
She's taking a minute.
Yep.
need the sign. So if you put a speed limit sign up in a statutory area, you need to have the MGL. Okay.
Correct.
The town posts the speed limit.
Now, your posted speed, so if you have a prima facie speed that's supposed to be 40, you cannot post it at 35. It has to be posted at that 40. And if you have a regulatory speed, so if you have 30 or 35 or 40, you can't say, ooh, the regulatory speed says 40, you can't post it at 35. And I have a town right now that's in an argument with MassDOT that has a 35 regulatory speed, has posted at 30. MassDOT's not usually in the position, they're not going to go to the municipality and say, hey, you got to take down those signs, because that's really the town issue. However, the town wants to reduce it to 25, and now MassDOT says, well, now you keep pushing the envelope, now we're going to tell you need to remove the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit signs, because it's regulatory at 35. They normally won't go, they're not driving around Westborough looking to make sure your signs are properly done.
Oh, but if somebody goes in to fight the speed Right.
Correct. And I especially, one particular town we're in, it has a lot of attorneys in it, and we say, if I can find the information, you know that they can find it.
If I may, so that means Lyman Street could never be 25 or 30,
Correct.
even by like the park there at the lake?
That is correct. So the town could, oh, so you are correct. The town could request MassDOT to rescind it, regulatory speed. There is a process, and I don't recall offhand, but there is a process that you could do to rescind an existing regulatory speed. It hasn't been done very often.
I'm going to get back.
Could you say that again? So the town can request Mass to,
Rescind.
Request MassDOT to rescind a regulatory speed.
And could it be for just a part of the road, or did it have to be the whole road?
They usually don't do portions. Same thing, if you look at your regulatory speeds, it's usually the entire length of the road that has the regulatory speed, not just a portion of the road.
What they're getting at is Lyman Street has a very busy place with the beach, and the parking is across the street and the pickleball courts. It's long been our thinking that the speed limit should be lower on that portion of Lyman. That's why they're asking this.
Yeah, you could request that be designated as a safety zone,
Okay.
and then petition MassDOT as part of that. And they have changed some of their regulatory speeds for various reasons. It's not, if you just had a normal road, they wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been circumstances like in the center of town, they may reduce it to 20. Mm-hmm. And they'll do an amendment to their existing. You could ask if you could do it as a safety zone, which does have, you could have that ability to reduce it to 25 within that zone, or 20, or 20 or 25.
Great, thanks.
Because like you said, lots of those speed audits were done in the 70s and 80s, right? And we all know, like on Lyman Street now, there's been a lot of new development in the past 10 years with the Pulte property that has 500 plus units. And then we have the whole municipal land where Lake Chauncey is, where there's recreational fields, the beach, a dog park, pickleball courts. Like none of that, it probably existed originally.
So if the town wanted to look at modifying the regulatory speed, special regulatory speed, my suggestion would be to do basically do a speed study, do it over like 5 days, 10 days, and just see what your 85th percentile speed actually is today. In order to do a true speed study, you need to put the counters out for a 2-hour period during non-peak hour, during ideal weather conditions. So it would be today between 9 and 11 and 1 and 3, so it's not peak hour. You can only count the first vehicle that's in, so if you have a line of 15 cars, you can only count the first one, and then you use the 85th percentile. And then there are other ways you can manipulate that a little bit, but if you put the tubes out or the radar out for a week or so, and you see what the 85th percentile is, because that includes all weather conditions, includes night, includes day, you will see if let's say the regulatory speed is now 40 and you're getting your 85th at 40, more than likely it's going to be 40 or higher if you did a true speed study, more than likely. Because you're not dealing with, well, one slow car slows 47 cars back, or it doesn't, it's not raining, it's not nighttime, it's not, so your speeds will tend to be slightly higher or at the same as your non-true speed study. And I would do that. I would suggest that if you see that your speeds are 35 and you want to, then I would do a true speed study. Without it, I wouldn't, because your speeds are probably going to be higher. Now, you could get the results and you could actually, put it in the waste paper basket, pretend you didn't do it. But you could do that. But as soon as you submit it to MassDOT, MassDOT's then obligated to go, and you may end up with a speed higher than what you want.
Do you,
We did the speed audit.
Yeah.
We can give you the data.
I just wonder when they did that, when they put those out the last time, what of these criteria like were achieved? Like, did they do it during
They did it for a whole,
non-peak
they
hours?
did a
like-
whole 24-hour period.
But what did they use for equipment?
They put it on a telephone pole.
Did they use radar, or did
Radar.
they use the message board that told you what the speed was?
It told you your speed.
Yeah, that doesn't count. You can't use that. And I will be honest, I've seen that work where it slows vehicles down, because that should give you data back that will show the peak cars are slowing down once they see it. I have also seen towns and had complaints from police chiefs that people actually use it to see how fast they actually can go. So I've seen both. So I've seen it as a deterrent, but I've also seen it as a game.
So what do we need for an official speed
Yeah,
audit?
that one you would use, the old traffic tubes in the road, or the stealth radar that goes on a telephone pole or a tree that's hidden. Or police can do it, but they can't have the cruiser out on the road with the lights on, slowing everybody down. It has to be where nobody knows that that's what you're actually doing. Because they want to see what the actual person, what their normal traffic is. Because the speed should be, the 85th percentile is based on what 85% of the people feel is the safe speed to travel.
We should go back and check. I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong.
So I think like next step, like what he was saying, like we would need to talk about getting this data captured and then evaluate it. And then at that point, if it warrants,
Yeah.
proposing to DOT to do another speed study, but like he said, being careful not to trigger them, and then we wind up with a higher speed limit.
Right, so DOT won't do the study.
Oh, okay.
So the town would hire someone to do the study. We can get you the initial, like the non-true speed study data. Through Rob, we put the tubes out or the radar out.
So you can use the ones that you put the tubes that you have to drive over?
Yeah, we do that, or we also have the radar. The stealth radar.
Okay.
So we can engage CMRPC to get that done? Okay.
Correct. Talk to Rob and get on the list.
I will say that about 20, 25 years ago, the town put 30-mile-an-hour speed limits on Lyman, even though it was 40. And they got into enough of a brouhaha, they actually did do some rough estimates back at that time. And they figured out that they did not want to go near MassDOT because it would probably end up 50.
You are correct, yeah, so I will warn you not to. If you get the data back, that stays right in this room, so to speak, and then gets put, I'd keep it for your own records
Yeah.
for later, but it doesn't,
But
it's
that was
not
a long
circulated.
time ago, and things
yeah.
have changed, but I'm just saying that I know there was at least one time it was done as a informal, and they definitely said, we aren't going any further.
Yeah, but at least you have some information up front to understand what the actual speed, and then to be honest with you, so I used to be in Shrewsbury, I used to use it as, I would go to the police department and say, hey, I got somebody at 2 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday, who's doing 70 along down the road, and then they would go out and, sure enough, usually it was the person who complained was the one who got the ticket, but that seemed the way it always worked.
So we've kind of gotten a little off topic here, which has been a great conversation, because this is great for us to know, because we've many times talked about that Lyman Street stretch, but do we have anything more on that, or can we move back to the 25-mile-per-hour?
Again, I want to open up any questions that you have that we'll try to answer.
You got one?
Basically, yeah, on the density, so you really have to have, is it a stretch of the road, or is it any you know, with the 6.25 mile, or is it the whole road, or?
So thickly settled, that under prima facie, all you have to have, as long as it's a quarter mile long or more, and you meet the definition.
Okay,
So you could have stretches that are and stretches that aren't.
okay,
Which then becomes difficult for police to enforce, because,
it's only the stretches that are.
yeah, so let's say they see that you're going faster than 30, but then in less than an eighth of a mile, they're outside the thickly settled area, so they go to 40, so now they technically are under the speed, then they go, for police, it's much more difficult to enforce.
So as you go back and forth between the zones, you have to keep posting speed limits for all those, like her road that doesn't quite meet it because they only have 4 driveways, you'd have to post that other speed.
No, because it's statutory, you do not have to post those, because
Okay.
that's Mass General Law, that when you got your license originally, you should have known that that's what the speed limit, which once you get your license, you don't remember anymore, but technically, yes, you should know that that is thickly settled, and you should be doing 30.
So I have a couple things. I still would like to hear how police and fire in other towns have responded to this, or DPW if you have anything else to add. The other question I have is, I believe I saw that over half of the municipalities in the state have accepted it now, but I'd like you to tell us about that. And then I have another question too.
So so it's technically you're adopting it. And again, it does require a town meeting vote. More and more towns are adopting it, and I think, like City of Worcester adopted it. They put it out that they adopted, so everywhere everybody believes that it's 25-mile-an-hour speed zone, but it is not, and that becomes the challenge, is to explain to the residents or the business owners that are not located within a thickly settled why it's not 25 in their area. And that seems to be the challenge, because again, there's a misnomer. You see the sign when you come into town thinking that it's 25. And in reality, it's not. And again, police aren't going to, they're not going to stop somebody when the prima facie speed is 40 outside of thickly settled, but the resident believes that it should be 25.
Let me ask this a different way. This is where I was really coming to. Is adopting the 20, it sounds like we've got this in effect now, only it's 30. And when you're outside, like Julie Street, the 30 might not even apply because she doesn't have 6 driveways in a row. Am I right on this?
Unfortunately, yes. Now,
So I'm thinking adopting the 25 doesn't really change anything?
it just reduces it in the areas that are thickly settled from 30 to 25. That's what it does.
So I'm going to put, this is going to sound like I'm pushing back, but I think all you're telling us with all this complexity that you're describing about what is thickly settled really doesn't have much to do with the 25, because it already applies this way or that way, or it might be or it might not be at the 30. So what's the harm of adopting a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit? And also, how do police respond to that in other towns? Are they like, we don't want to do that? Or, I mean, because they've already got the same challenge now,
I think,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
I think a big part of it is kind of the educational campaign that goes along with it. So we worked with Princeton, they adopted it. The residents were upset that it wasn't really being enforced, but they couldn't enforce it anywhere except for maybe one road. So I think that's also part of Mass DOT putting out those new sign placards would be, if Westborough adopted it, then it would be a good idea probably at the kind of the edge of the thickly settled zones to actually put those signs up reinforcing that it's 25 here, so that, people can see that, that we're coming into like the downtown business area or, a thickly settled neighborhood to kind of know that what they're coming into. So I think kind of the education around it is important. And then it would help to get rid of some of those signs in town that are not legal and kind of teach people that the neighborhoods are really where you should slow down. And that's kind of part of we've been working on our Vision Zero plan, trying to eliminate fatalities and serious injury. So kind of teaching people that slower speeds makes it safer for everyone to, bike, walk, throughout town would be kind of an overall campaign that I would recommend.
I just have a question about Princeton. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they can't even ticket anybody or enforce 30 mile per hour because they don't have a 30 mile per hour anything in
Yeah,
town,
there may be.
even
one-
before the 25.
Yeah, there's maybe one
Okay.
road, maybe.
Okay.
It's borderline.
So
It-
people
that's-
can go over 30
Correct,
almost anywhere in town.
correct.
Okay.
Now, they put up a lot of warning signs, so the yellow signs to try to skip people. And mainly, if you've driven Princeton, they got a lot of really windy roads and put them on the windy roads. But the prima facie speed is still 40 on those, which everybody is, the road, I personally wouldn't drive 40 on that road, but,
Anybody else?
But some people are driving faster, so the road, can you
sorry?
explain what you're just saying about Princeton? Their speed limit is 40.
so the prima facie speed is 40 on all basically rural roads. Unless you're in a thickly settled, then it's 30. They passed the Chapter 90, Section 17C to reduce the 30 to 25. They have a traffic committee, I don't remember exactly what their name is, so very similar, who voted against it for that very reason, because they said, well, there's nothing, I mean, they have 250-foot minimum frontage. So how do you ever get to 200 if the minimum frontage is 250? The math doesn't add up. So they voted against it. Town meeting, almost not unanimously, but pretty close, voted to adopt it. But you're right, the police cannot, there's nowhere in town that the town, except for maybe one, that they can enforce it.
I also want to note that I think we have a representative from the fire department. And I just wanted to invite, if you have questions to, Okay, well, just raise your hand.
Yeah, so you sort of asked if it affects police and fire. I don't think it affects fire at all.
Okay.
Police obviously is just an enforcement. But enforcement is the issue everywhere. They don't have enough. They don't have enough officers. And so unless you had somebody on that location every day, which isn't feasible or practical.
Could we run through another scenario that I've thought about?
Sure.
So Route 30 from the Rotary towards the high school going west, so West Main Street is Route 30, but you said that's not state-owned, that's municipal.
That's correct. And
Can
it
that be
doesn't-
25? Would that be
No.
25?
Does not have that does not have a regulatory speed, even though it is posted. It shouldn't be. Which I'll be honest, I'm asking that question of why
But wouldn't that
30 and
be-
135 are not, because I would have assumed that those would have had regulatory speeds, but they currently do not.
So there'd be statutory speed.
No, they are not. Yeah, right, so they would be statutory speed.
Which would be thickly settled if there's more than 6
Yeah,
driveways.
if it's thickly settled, then yes, then it would revert to 25, as long as there's not a regulatory speed. And MassDOT does not have any information on that being regulatory on West Main, which I don't.
You said just from Lyman to South.
Lyman, which I don't understand why usually the state numbered routes are the ones you would see, but for whatever reason, this one does not.
And you said that goes for 135 as well?
Yes. And I know 135 has speed limit signs on it.
Adam has a question.
Oh, yeah.
Microphone.
Just
Please.
say,
Moment? Yeah, I'll go over here.
you say your name and address.
I'm Adam Broders from 80 Fisher Street in Westborough. I'm curious what your thoughts are regarding these speed limit signs compared to traffic calming measures in terms of their effectiveness. Obviously, the signs I can't imagine would be more expensive than traffic calming measures, like changing the street design, and how that relates to actual speeds on the street and things like that, because it also avoid some enforcement necessity because you would be naturally reducing the speed of the road. So like on Lyman Street where the pond is, if we did traffic calming measures there, it almost doesn't matter what the speed limit is, people would slow down. That's my impression, but I'd love your comment on that.
Can we put, I have a question, can we put traffic calming measures on a state road when we can't change the speed limit?
So Lyman Street's municipally owned, so that's your road.
Okay.
There is regulatory speed. If you did traffic calming measures, say on Lyman Street, because it has a regulatory speed, you would have to do a study as part of the design to put the traffic calming in to reduce the special regulatory speed. So yes, you could do that, but it'd all be part of the design, and then the special regulatory speed would be reduced as a result of the traffic calming measures.
And also, through some of our public outreach for our Safe Streets for All plan, we saw that a lot of DPWs and police think that, you know, there's just too many signs out there, so people don't pay attention to them anymore. So one of the things that we're looking at is maybe trying to reduce the amount of signs there are and put in ones that are more meaningful, and try to get newer signs, because a lot of the signs we have are, you know, older signs, things like that. But we're also doing a demonstration project on Beacon Street where we're gonna put a chicane in the road, which is kind of like you go straight, take a right, and then it kind of takes you out of the natural traffic flow.
Beacon Street in Worcester?
In Worcester, yeah, in Worcester. So it's basically a way to kind of artificially slow you down. So things like that, we're hopeful that through the demonstration project, we're gonna invite our towns out to take a look, and maybe that's something they might build, you know, before the pickleball court, something like that, to try to slow the cars down, or like before a school zone where cars are gonna have to carry on with a slower speed anyway. So we're looking at to see if maybe that would be, you know, an effective way to slow cars down. I think there might be some plowing issues with how we're building it, because we're using flex posts, things like that. So, you know, the Worcester DPW plowing it is going to be challenging, because I don't know if their plows are set up for it, or, you know, the drivers might not be used to it. But I think that would be something to look at for some of these areas where, you know, if we can't lower the speed limit, maybe you build something like that to try to slow the cars down.
Yeah, and sort of so traffic calming measures really needs to be looked at. Each town is going to be different of how they operate and how they work within that particular location. And there's several different types of traffic calming measures. Intersections using roundabouts, speed bumps, narrowing of lanes, wider shoulders, wider paint. There are several different options. Each one should be looked at carefully to look at both the pros and the cons, because each of them have pros and each of them have cons. i.e., if you have speed bumps but your plows use underbelly scrapers, you can't plow your street, because they will get hung up on the speed bumps. They literally will get stuck. Narrowing of lanes, if it's a truck route, you will have problems with the width of the trucks if you narrow the lanes too much. You have trucks with wider mirrors, they will hit mirrors if they're too narrow. You also have to be careful on, if you have a narrow road, of putting striping on the road. If the road is too narrow, you shouldn't be striping the road. I was on a road yesterday that's 16 feet wide that has the double yellow line. There's not a single car that won't be over those double yellow lines at some point along that road, which technically is a violation. So you have to be cognizant of the road, and then any traffic calming measure, police, fire, emergency vehicles. There's one town that put in very narrow lanes, narrowed everything down, took out the shoulder and really narrowed, so they had sidewalks outside of the road instead of on the road. And the fire truck can't get down the road, or it's very narrow. If it's a car coming the other way, they're stuck. They can't go. So there's a lot of design that goes into it, but traffic calming measures absolutely can be put into any design in any road, and that can help with speed. If you've got a wider road, just even putting the fog lines in, so the white lines on the side, tends to visually make the lane feel narrower, even though the pavement's still the same width. If you have country drainage, you put curbing in. Now, you can, again, that's an argument of whether or not country drainage is worse than or better than curbing with underground drainage. There's a trade-off, but by putting curbing in, visually, it slows traffic because it makes it feel, even if the pavement width's the same, it makes the road look narrower.
I'm getting back to the 25-mile-per-hour
Yep.
speed limit. Again, I get like the number of towns and cities that have already adopted it. Do you have a feel for that? I thought it was over half. Okay. If you don't, that's fine, but I haven't.
I don't know the number.
That's fine.
And it's more and more almost every town meeting year.
I know it's easy to find. I just wondered if you had it off the top of your head. And then the other thing is, what have you heard from towns who've adopted it? Has it made an impact on the speeds people are driving?
I have not heard one way or the other.
Okay.
I do know in certain towns, the police argued against it mainly because I can't enforce the 30, how am I going to enforce the 25? I don't have speed enforcement. I have one officer. That's all I have for the entire town.
I'm not even talking about enforcement, just has it had a psychological effect on drivers? But, you know, because I have heard, yeah, it's a couple places, it may have slowed people down a little, but then the other interesting thing that I had heard about Worcester adopting it from someone who's lived there and is a bicycle activist, that one of the real reasons that even if it doesn't make a difference in driver behavior is that when traffic calming measures, like you were just talking about, get proposed, and then people are up in arms about, oh, I'll have to go slower, the answer is, you're supposed to be going that speed already? Is there any feedback on that?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Okay.
But I have not heard one positive or negative against either of reducing it. I do know towns that have done it. And there is also, within each town, there has to be education, because there has to be an understanding of what that actually means. And depending, like in the city of Worcester, depending on which department you talk to, on where it's 25 miles an hour and where it's not. Because even some city departments don't know which one is what it actually means.
You mean where it applies?
Yeah, because you'll see signs on Shrewsbury Street in where all the restaurants are.
Yeah.
It says 25, it's not. And that actually has a regulatory speed, so the 25 is trumped by the regulatory speed anyways, which the city has removed, this regulatory speeds. But
Anybody else
I don't
have
want to
any other questions?
I'm going to go back to that, you know, the 6.25 mile and the like. Has the state ever stepped in for a limit? You know, like if you, for instance, across the street here, we might very well have 6.25 mile, but I can't imagine that the state would really allow you to say West Main all the way to the Grafton line, or do they?
So, again, it's a statutory, so it's not a regulatory. They don't actually approve it. It's the enforcement portion of it.
Okay, so it's the portion, yeah, that you...
So, but legally, if you start getting driveways in the old section of town where the houses are probably much further apart, to have that as thickly settled, and you can go to almost any town in Massachusetts, which really thickly settled is only here. It's not a national term. No one knows what that means except here. You'll go into places and I drive down roads and you go, they posted this as thickly settled. There's 2 driveways within a half a mile. Yeah, no. But towns do that. And you'll see some of these signs that were probably put up in the 30s. I mean, they're old. And that's how a lot of the town, you know, the old, I'll just put up a regulatory speed because I was getting complaints from the residents. These went up in 1972. Well, now everybody believes that that's actually the speed. And now we're digging deeper into some of these towns. They're asking the exact same things that you're asking. And we're finding out, I was like, oh boy, uh-oh. Now what do I do? Do I go to the town and tell them you really only have one, but you posted like 10 of them at least? So, now, and I'm not advocating that you should remove those signs either. That's a town issue, because that could be used also as a deterrent. If somebody believes that it's still 30, then that's a deterrent.
Is there anything else we should know?
No, I don't, I mean, I'll answer any questions, but
Anybody else? Kristen?
Earlier today, I was talking to Officer Holt, or I'm sorry, Officer Luce, and his impression was that you would have to post the signage that this is in effect in the town in every road that enters the town anywhere. Not just the
yeah,
main
it should be
corridors.
anywhere where majority of the vehicles, if you had a very small road that 2 cars enter, you probably could get away with it. You should do it on every location, but
Okay.
as many as you possibly can. But yes, you should put them up because it's a statutory speed limit. Mass general law says the thickly settled is 30, so the general public's going to believe that it's 30. So if you have an out-of-town driver, and technically out of state, you're supposed to know the local law, the state law. If you come, say, from Grafton doesn't have that provision, then they assume that it's 30 unless they are told ahead of time.
We've been at this almost an hour. I just want to make sure everybody's questions are answered, or if there's anything else you really want to tell us.
No, again, I wanted this to be more open, so I don't think there's anything else I need to bring up.
Jeff, I did have one more question. Did you say you have a map of where it would apply in this town?
Rob, I'll let you explain.
I was working on that, and I was being a little bit more generous, but there were a lot of driveways. So I'm trying to, basically, I took the road inventory file and I've been trying to split it up where all the driveways are in town to get the measurement of the distance between driveways. And it's just taking a little bit longer to, I tried to have my GIS script split the lines today, but it didn't do it exactly how I thought it would. So I have to go back and take another look
Because
at that.
I'm sure the town and everybody who are decision makers would want to see that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take another crack at that, or
But there's no hurry.
or see if I can maybe get some of the parcel data that would have the frontage of each lot, something like that.
I just have one more clarification question on the MGL 9017 small sign. In order to, just to clarify, in order to get a ticket to enforce any of these, it has to be a regulatory speed zone with an MGL with it.
Regulatory does not have the MGL, it's the statutory
Okay.
that has the MGL.
Okay.
Regulatory was established by an actual speed study. And then so if anybody has a newer car that has the GPS in it, if you go down, say, Lyman Street, more than likely it will tell you what the speed is, and that they're pretty accurate. Whether it's 30 or whether it's 40 or 45, those are pretty accurate locations of where the speed limit sign speed actually changes.
Okay, so I want to clarify, because I think I have it's wrong in my meetings. Where again do you need to post that MGL sign?
On the statutory speed limits,
Okay, and on regulatory, you don't need to.
that's correct, as far as that's our understanding. And we just became aware of this, even though it has been a standard for a long time. Massachusetts hasn't really utilized that. So we just actually found that out late last week.
And the only regulatory ones we have were the 6 that you mentioned at the beginning.
That's
right?
correct, outside of Route 9. But that's MassDOT controlled, or, Route 9, the connector road, 495, obviously.
A
And
little bit of Flanders actually is part of it, they called it connector when they rebuilt it, but it's actually Flanders by historic.
yeah, and I think there's a small section down by, right, isn't there a small section down by the Pike, or no?
Connector, up off of Connector Road, kind of the north section.
Okay.
You got it. We were just
It's Rob Raymond,
Yes,
for the minutes.
okay, Raymond?
yeah.
Okay. So I have a question. So I'm looking at this picture that has the blue and the purple. So the blue, I'm going to assume is statutory.
So the blue is state maintained?
State-owned.
Okay, so which roads are, do we have a picture somewhere that tells which are regulatory and which are statutory?
The red right
Yeah,
here.
it does. It's in here.
Oh, this one, okay.
So this only shows the regulatory, not the statutory zones.
So if it doesn't have a regulatory, it is a statutory.
So wouldn't these red ones be statutory? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one that does not have a statutory would be private roads, whether it's a private road within, say, an industrial subdivision, or a private road that's covered under subdivision control law that hasn't been accepted by town meeting yet.
Okay, so the blue roads that are owned by the state, we don't have to cover.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then the oranges are the ones that have those regulatory speeds. The red has that regulatory speed also, but I called it out just because it was kind of a weird situation. And then the rest that are gray
Are private.
do not, and they're under the statutory
So
speeds.
they're under the town control and they're statutory.
So there's two different maps there.
Yeah.
You're looking at the wrong.
I think I used the same color scheme, which was probably not a great idea.
So you said the one with the red lines,
Yeah,
can
but
I-
he's talking about this one right now.
Perfect.
but this doesn't have any red lines.
Yeah, it does.
Right there.
Oh, it only has the one line.
See these? Like
Well, yeah, one little red one.
Route 9, which is blue here, but it's red here.
No, that's orange.
That's
He's
orange.
talking these.
Go to the next one.
So this is the map here that shows it. So the blue are the Mass DOT owned roads. The orange are the town regulatory speed limits. That red line from kind of like the Lyman Street area towards Southborough is that part of, I guess, Route 30 that was state-owned at one point, but is now town-owned. So those have the regulatory speeds. The Mass DOT ones kind of by default because that's what they'll do with theirs. And then the gray fall under that statutory speed limit regulation.
Great, this has been great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so we're still looking, or MassDOT is still looking to see if the other portion, the west main of Route 30, has a regulatory speed. As of right now, they haven't found one, and 135.
Okay. Very good information. Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, this has been great.
Thank you. And if you have any other further questions, feel free to let us know.
Can we get a soft copy of this to post in the minutes? Or do you?
Yes, we've sent a,
Have the
Yeah, they
e-version,
provided
right?
this to me.
Okay.
It was too big to send through email.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, but you can post it. Do we have to post it on the web for when we post our
Where's
minutes?
she gonna get at it? Well, you guys can figure that out afterwards.
Okay.
We got a long agenda.
Okay,
That's why
yeah.
I'm moving it along. We got a couple of other important things that we have to do today.
Great, thank you.
all right.
Alan,
Guys,
did you see that?
Thank you.
What?
Police walked
yeah,
in. Is there
actually,
anything?
see if Cliff has any
Oh.
questions. Were you watching?
Officer Luce, do you have any questions? Oh, okay. Well, hopefully they'll all have been answered, mostly, but,
Perfect.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate it.
yeah.
Some good info.
Next on the agenda is we are reviewing our duties and responsibilities. The minutes, we did,
From last week.
what about it?
Did we approve them?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we did.
we
Okay,
approved
sorry.
them, yeah.
Sorry.
So the select board is reviewing and going over the duties and responsibilities that they want to assign to us. And I sent out in the package that I sent out last night, the draft that I did, because we had this discussion at our last meeting, I sent out a draft of what we discussed. It doesn't really match up with what they've got. I have been invited for tomorrow to meet with town manager and 2 select board members. It's Mark and Sean as chair and vice chair, to try to, come to an understanding of what they want, what we want, try to get everybody happy. So I'm looking for your guidance on what we want to show them. They had a much simplified version, which I didn't send out this time, but you guys had all seen it before, you remember? I know, maybe I can even show it on up there.
I feel like it's going to be kind of hard to come up with any kind of real decision until after the meeting with the select board.
Well, let me just bring up and read a couple of things that they had proposed.
Is there anything they have that we don't have on our list?
Well, there was some things there were a couple things that we had issues with. I'm reading there. They only had 6 on here. I'll just read it. They had that we would make recommendations to the select board on complete streets. Safe routes to schools was not in here, so we want to include that. Make recommendations to the select board on matters related to proposed recreational paths and active transportation improvements. So that's like inclusive of BWALT without being specific about BWALT.
Though I object very strongly to the recreational path because that changes the design of the path significantly.
Okay, so let me make a note of this. So we want to say, what would you change the language to? This may just be a
Shared
simple-
use path. Or,
Yeah, I agree with that.
So is a recreational path defined somewhere?
recreational path in a number of the bicycle engineering guideline says 8 feet is perfectly fine. If it's anything other than a purely recreational path in a park, 11 feet is now the generally legally required by the latest guidelines, and 10 feet can be justified, but 11 feet is what is required.
Well, they may just have not known the right language.
And it significantly impacts things like the fact that the piece they're building on Otis right now is obviously more than recreational. You would hope that people would be riding their bikes from Arrive down to the T station at some point and things like that.
Okay. The other one on here, there's only 6, so I read you 2, complete streets and the little change in language we want to recommend. Master plan, make recommendations to select board regarding implementation of master plan goals for which this committee is identified as lead and support those goals for which we've been identified as a partner that remain within the scope of the committee's mission. Okay. I think that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you got anything, Chris? Let's see. All right, these are ones where a little, review all site plan and special permit application materials and provide comments to the select board for consideration in regards to active transportation for inclusion in the select board's recommendations to the planning board. We've been just submitting them without going through the select board. I mean, I don't know what the intent of this is. Would you venture to guess that? See, what I don't know, I'll just be honest here. Do they want to see them the way the planning board wants to see them, and they'll include what they want, but are they going to edit out some of our suggestions?
You know, the whole idea was just to go, since you fall under the select board,
Yeah, that's right.
that your comments kind of go through them. Not saying that they're going to edit what you say, like maybe when they go to submit their select board comments to planning board, yours are an attachment to theirs. I think that's the intention.
You know, I think that's something I'm going to have to find out tomorrow.
That makes somewhat of sense as to why it's worded that way, but what about other, like the Conservation Commission, or what other boards are
Well,
doing the
Conservation Commission
same?
by statute can do what they do.
So what other committees or whatever make comment like ours do and send them through the planning board? Are there others?
You're the only committee.
Okay, so that would make sense why it would go through the select board.
So we'll discuss that
My
tomorrow.
biggest concern here is that it probably means it's 2 months from when we make a recommendation before it arrives at the planning board, at which point the planning board is probably may very well have locked down a lot of its efforts on things.
Well, for any site plan or special permit where you would be providing comments, they always go to the select board the week before they come to the planning board. So your comments would need to be ready for that select board meeting. And typically, once we receive an application, we give 30 days for comments to be provided.
And normally you just tell us when the planning board meeting is that we have to have comments in by, but instead it would have to be by the select
Before,
board date.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a tighter window.
A very tight window. with-
Yeah.
Well,
that's-
it's probably about, because if we get an application, we give 30 days for comments, and then there's probably another 2 weeks before the hearing happens, where we reconcile all those comments and provide them to the board. So I would think you have about 4 weeks as a committee to get your comments together from when we receive the application. It depends on when your meeting is, exactly.
But that doesn't sound any different from what we've been doing. But if it has to be at the select board a week before the planning,
That's only 1 week difference,
it's
really.
still a tighter window. It's probably a week tighter window.
Because technically, the comments to the planning, even for the planning board meeting, we would have gotten those a week prior
To their
to that
meeting.
meeting
Yeah,
in
but-
order to give it to the board.
Okay. It still sounds like there might be a tighter window a lot of the time. Anyway, I'll raise that concern tomorrow.
Especially if you consider that if we put together a whole bunch of things that we think should be done, then we have a draft. Lots of times we come back with a draft letter at our next meeting and then finally put it in. We'll never make the schedule unless we're almost meeting weekly, which is probably not a very good thing for any of the situation in general.
Okay.
Unless we always schedule a meeting for the select board. But the select board can have this, they meet the first and the third, they meet twice a month, right?
The second and the fourth,
Second
and the
and fourth.
planning board is the first and the third.
But they could have this come up at either one of their meetings, so we'd have to be bi-weekly the week before their meeting.
We'll try to work that out. Let's
Next
see,
one.
what else was on here? Oh, so BWALT is mentioned here. Support active transportation projects, including development of BWALT at the direction of the select board. Well, yeah, it's their project. This may include support for grant applications, plan review, and/or community engagement. I don't know.
That's fine.
I don't know. Well, I skipped over one that we might have more discussion with. That was number 5.
I'm not numbering
I'm
things.
taking them out of order, actually. Would there be something other than BWALT here that we would want to include?
would like it
Well,
more
they said active transportation projects, or did they just say BWAL?
It just, Oh, it says active transportation projects, including Bewald. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause-
that's fine then. Here's one. I don't like the wording of this myself. Support town departments as requested when engaging the community in bicycle education and skills development. Now, in the past, we could just do that and go to town departments and ask for their support.
Does that mean like for the bike thing in the spring, we have to go to the select board to get the police to come?
I asked that
and-
very question. And they were like, no, I think, who was it I talked to? It was Sean. Sean called me, the chair of the select board, and he's like, I think it was him. He says that, that's fine. That's not a town department, so we like that. But I
Wait a
know,
minute, the police
Kristen, you've
isn't a
said.
town department? What?
No, but we asked them. They didn't ask us.
Departments as requested.
I know Kristen's mentioned several times she'd like to do more with education and bicycle stuff.
Wait, so does this?
Are they just saying that you need to be directed from the department that's doing the event to assist versus you holding your own education? Is that what it
So-
says?
Right,
think
like if
this-
there's a bike rodeo with the rec department, like we could be involved. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, so maybe what we do here is change this to work with town departments to engage the community in bicycle education and skills development, meaning it can go either way. We can request them or they can request us.
Yeah, I like that better.
So,
think you need a little flexibility there, because otherwise somebody could interpret, well, you can only do it if police or fire or police or schools or somebody ask you to, and
But maybe that's a condition, like that you're partnering with somebody. You might initiate it to begin with, but then you partner with the department to hold it.
for example, I approached Jen Kirkland, rec director. There was so much positivity about the community bike ride that maybe they might want a partner to do it a couple more times.
Right.
And I didn't follow up, but she was amenable to, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I thought maybe June and September or something. And I did ask the police department, so the feasibility is there. We just need to do that if we ever
Right.
do it.
Because based off of like the data that you're seeing and the feedback you're getting from residents, like you might have the idea and now you just have to go to the department to propose it, and then you offer to collaborate with them and volunteer, support it, that type of thing.
I just don't want them interpreting it in a weird way. I mean, that was, it was after I left the Open Space Preservation Committee, but they actually wrote the guidelines to say you had to coordinate such that they wanted the Open Space Committee to go to the Select Board and say, we think we can acquire this piece of land, which at that point in time, it was going to become impossible because there were developers who'd go grab it. And yet there was no way, and they literally, that's when the committee died for a while. And I get real tense on regulations like that.
So now I'm going to pivot to what I sent out to all of you. This was the draft that I did, and it's much longer. Maybe it shouldn't be that long, but I just want to get your thoughts. You guys can all see it. I don't know if you want to start at the top. So number 1 remained. We remained it, and the select board kept it in there too. Number 2 was active transportation plan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Number 3 addresses safe routes to schools.
So so we want to add the safe route to school, and we'd like to add the active transportation and safety plan, right?
Yeah, it's the same, it's in
Okay.
your draft there. And then they also had complete streets. I think I might have borrowed this from them. I think my original draft may have forgotten to put that in, but complete streets. I put policy and initiatives. I changed their language because I think they had make recommendations to select board regarding complete streets initiatives. I added policy and initiatives because, Don, you had the idea that we can recommend that they get the policy review.
Yeah. Actually, I want to go back to 2 for a second.
Yeah.
I think it would be better if we could put in monitor and contribute to the active transportation plan and other future plans such as Vision Zero if they occur or something to that extent, you know, that
And
we're involved with the
future-
planning process on things that affect active transportation of any sort.
Okay, word that again, active transportation plan and future.
And future plans such as Vision Zero if they occur, you know. Because CMRPC is pushing Vision Zero now, so there's a good chance and we should be involved with that because Vision Zero is supposed to
Okay.
be across the whole board, not just.
Okay. Julie did say routes to schools look good for you, the way it is. Anything to add there? And so we also had with the site plan, I'm on number 5 now, review all site plan and special permit application materials. And this said, and provide comments to the planning board. I think obviously they're going to change that.
Then you added the tips too.
Yes, and likewise monitor Mass DOT Transportation Improvement Project Plan in regards to active transportation, as well as providing comments on other plans that affect active transportation. Like, I don't know what I meant there. Other plans by who? Do we need that last piece?
Projects? I don't know if there's other projects that are
Oh,
coming up.
I know, is projects in regards to active transportation, as well as providing comments on other plans that affect. I don't know, that might be redundant.
I think that could be probably argued one way or the other, so. But I don't have a
I
problem.
think you were comparing like the tip, you were saying, you know, your focus would be the active transportation component of the tip projects, and then you put, and also other plans that
Why-
affect.
I can
Oh,
show,
yeah,
you know
okay, now I
what?
remember why. Because like Mass builds grants aren't tip, but we're building a lot of stuff that has active transportation in it, and we weren't.
Like the
really
Otis Street stuff?
Like Otis Street, and we weren't really given an option
Oh.
to review the plans.
Monitor
And,
Mass DOT
I
projects.
strongly remember when.
And other state projects?
And other plans that affect that. I think we should leave it the way it is because what happens if we get another Amazon and they come in and they say, we'll give you $250,000 if you rebuild this road, and it comes out that, oh, well, yeah, we need the whole $250,000 to build the roads, we aren't going to put in sidewalks, but we should at least be able to comment and say, there's a problem here.
No, I'm more thinking this is just redundant. What if it read, likewise, monitor Mass DOT Transportation Improvement Project Plan projects and other plans in regards to
Active,
or affecting active transportation?
and other plans, I'd say in other plans, yeah. Because I don't want, affected worries me because it should be opportunities also. I mean, if somebody's doing work on a street with mass build or other things, we should be being able to put in comments to say, hey, wait a minute, we should have a sidewalk, or we should have, or there's a
So,
bike lane near
Do you
there.
suggest a period at the end of other plans in regard to active transportation?
Yes.
Make it, yeah, or as well as providing comments on other plans in regards to active transportation.
Or that affect.
Oh, yeah, we do want to provide comments, that's true. All right, well, maybe it's
Yeah,
okay as it
sure.
is.
Well, no, you
I'd
just say monitor. You want to put in the comment part.
Monitor and comment on,
Yeah.
monitor and provide comments on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, when, like in that Fisher Street project, they came back and wanted a skinny side, I mean, they gave us like 3 choices, right?
Okay, then it's becomes a period at the end of in regards to active transportation. If I add monitor and.
Could you change like the first part of it and just add that on too, instead of just providing comments for site plans and special permits? You do like a third thing there,
Well,
you know, any project related to active
the
transportation?
only thing is, I think we're not going to be providing the comments on site plan reviews
okay.
to the planning board anymore if the select board wants us to go through them.
Right, but could you change that to select board and then just put those 3 conditions? And then you can get rid of that whole yellow section. So review site plan, special permit application materials.
Well,
And-
the Mass DOT stuff, we would be providing those comments. Would we be going through the select board on those?
Sounds like they want to be there in the middle.
It's tricky because we want to go to the select board, but we also want to be able to,
Don't
when
wanna-
we go to the,
You do
when
this, don't-
MassDOT holds its hearing.
That's what I was thinking, if there's.
But when we submit these comments, we usually submit to the select board and the planning board both, right?
I don't think I've always been the best about remembering that, because if they're just going straight into permit pro, they might not see them. I might not always. I mean, the letter's usually addressed to them, but I'm not sure they're getting. That's my fault.
Well, no, if it's posted in permit pro, anybody can read it.
Yeah, true.
I'm more concerned on things like mass builds, which doesn't have a formal hearing process of any sort or requirement. And I think that's caused problems and mistakes that we need to, that somebody needs to be there and hopefully open it up to, the public a little bit more on some of these processes.
Okay, I see what you're saying, Kristen. We could combine all 3 of these and say we submit to the select board. It doesn't say we can't go to the public hearings.
Yeah, but there is no public hearing for, as I say,
Well,
mass build.
then we have to submit it through
Select
either
board, yeah.
planning or select board.
I mean, you can always submit your own comments on permit pro too.
Well, that's for the site plan reviews, the special permits. What he's
That's
getting
right,
at
yeah,
is
yeah.
how the Otis Street, it was a Mass Works thing. I didn't think it was
Mass Works, yeah.
They didn't have to go through the public process that a Mass DOT TIP project has to.
But I mean, even the Fisher Street thing, which there was supposedly a tips, I keep waiting for the crap to hit the fan when they start doing that. Because there's a lot of people on that road that we know that have come in and don't know that they're gonna put this, 8-foot path in front of their house.
They're gonna have to have a public hearing
They
at
have
some
to have a
point,
public
right?
hearing on that, and it's even,
Because it's a TIP project.
it's even worse than that because they haven't looked.
Didn't that get pushed out to 2029 or?
Yeah, the construction, so they're going through the planning, see, it's the planning and design that we'd be commenting on. 2029, it'll all be a done deal.
Yeah, but
All
you're
right.
right, okay, so.
I think Kristen's convinced me that we,
Can we just do generic and say any projects in Westborough?
well, we'll give some examples. Like
No,
Mass
I
DOT.
mean, they're,
Because if we don't know, then the general public's probably not gonna know.
the problem with any project in Westborough means that, if it can be something so small that would overload anybody, and we don't want to do that. What we really want are the bigger projects that could have potential, or have potential for active transportation, or would impact active transportation.
Not
Okay.
228 Fisher Street and there.
Well, I think we're good here.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I think we're fine.
All right, the next one was, oh, you know where that recreational paths
Yeah.
language came from? It was original. It was in the original.
Yeah, and we want to get rid of a recreational, because
So number 6 was exactly, we didn't change number 6, but we're going to, and then the select board had,
And you can,
they had simplified it to make so you see number 6 on ours, theirs was changed to make recommendations to the select board as appropriate on matters related to proposed recreational paths and active transportation improvements, but we're changing that.
right, and you can use as an argument if they wonder about recreational, that both the concept plan, which they accepted at one point, and the feasibility study actually talk about being a commuter route or commuter trail, which is totally different than a recreational path.
So what they've done with this one is you can read it, advise all of these different places. They're just saying all they want us to talk to is them.
Right.
Okay, they're probably gonna
They're
want
probably
that.
going to win that battle.
Number 7, encourage a bicycle community and community investment in bicycle racks, signage, and other mutually beneficial amenities. I want this to stay, don't you?
Yeah.
I think we all do.
I would actually add to that, or consider adding to that, including providing suggestions either to the select board or to the planning board, because it's really the planning board in the end, for possible zoning or other things to improve these facilities. I mean, because you look at, there are towns that have good bike parking zoning. There's towns that even now say, if you're building a office building and it's within a certain distance of a bike trail, we want you to provide showers and the like for people who commute, because we want to encourage bike commuting. And so we're the ones who are most likely to be able to come up with pointers to send to at the planning department to say,
So like guidelines and zoning amendments.
like, yeah, or here's Arlington, which I think has all that, and here's an example. Do you want to consider this? That doesn't mean
Right.
but we should be out there pushing for the for the future. And
Sort of, so number 7 is all about stuff and infrastructure. But I see where you're coming from to encourage a bicycle friendly community. It might involve
Yeah, I mean,
zoning, which is not.
well, but I'm also saying, include,
Stuff.
if you want to just look at it as infrastructure, add zoning in there to say, if it's,
No, what do you think of that, Chris?
I think it's a good suggestion because you might have more specific details related to biking that the planning board wouldn't be aware of, as far as that community's concerned.
And we're getting a new town planner or planning director who may know all of that and be on top of it and not need us.
Right.
but it doesn't hurt for us to suggest things, or, we're at an event saying, and somebody says, yeah, we just passed a new thing.
Like an idea that they gave
Yeah,
you,
I
you
mean,
want to
like
share.
a week from tomorrow is the opening of the Mass Central Rail Trail in Sudbury, and I know there's going to be a ton of bike people, including a lot of planner types and others.
You know that. Are you going?
Yeah.
So if something comes up that you want to suggest, there is a zoning review committee that's made up of the community development director, the planning director. There's a planning board member, John Pizzoni, I think, is on that right now. A community member, Todd Alexander. So there is a zoning review committee that meets not on a regular basis, but they talk about potential amendments. So I would suggest that if you had any recommendations, you would just go to that committee to give them.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I don't want us to be well, wait a minute, that's not in your role, that,
Right.
we as a committee say, this is a good idea. And
Okay, I can combine that in here. Number 8, I think we've sort of touched on that. Identify opportunities for providing bicycle education and riding skills development to improve safety for cyclists of all ages. I think we can combine that kind of with what the select board proposed and our change to working with other departments. Number 9, I had worked with director of planning, but we never worked directly with Jenny. I would say we worked with the planning department, but now they're gonna, I mean, we're still working with the planning department, but this is Bewalt. It's talking about Bewalt. I don't know where to go with this one.
Thinking you gotta make
Maybe
it
it's
more
already
generic.
covered in the select board one.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it works as it is, just we,
Yeah, but the
change the
select-
planning, it changed the director of planning, the planning department. and-
But back to what the select board has said, support active transportation projects, including development of Bewalt at the direction of the select board? And it includes community engagement, but,
It's redundant, it's covered in that other one you just read.
Yeah, but,
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
what I'm
one's
saying. These
the
are the
select-
same thing we were
Yeah.
trying to figure out.
as I say,
Yeah,
my big,
I think we're gonna end up with theirs, probably.
probably, but unfortunately, that means we probably won't be able to comment on a lot of things, or else
Well, what do you mean? I mean,
well, we can't, we have to have a formal vote, which means we have to have a meeting, which
don't know what you're talking
the
about.
time frame could be too tight,
For what? For the, we work with planning department related to, we're talking.
Or
the
maybe for
Bewalt one.
Bewalt, we
We're
can do
talking
it.
the Bewalt one.
Yeah. I guess that's
I
okay, yeah.
think we're probably gonna end up with theirs. That's my feeling.
Mhm.
But this is the one they were trying to change. We took out the trail maintenance plan. So I think they combined number 11 with 9 also. Provide support for grant applications. It's kind of covered in
Yeah.
what they came up with.
And we could probably do 12 by putting in something on where we're talking about reviewing for active transportation, just saying, including connections, other,
Interconnections with neighboring
Wait,
communities.
Yeah.
are you suggesting 12 get rolled into one of the others?
yeah,
Which one?
Probably 9. Because that's the one that has the Bewalt stuff.
well, it shouldn't be just Bewalt, though. I mean,
Yeah, it should
Alright.
be everything, yeah.
it should be any active transportation
So
plan.
Suzanne thinks it goes with number 9. What were you thinking it goes with?
Let's see here.
Well, 9 and 11 are going to be mushed to become the select board one, so I think it goes with those. Because you want
9, okay, with 9 and 11.
yeah,
Okay.
but, and just include the neighboring paths, is my suggestion.
Could even go in with 6.
All right, wait a second. I'm looking at combining 9, 11, and 12 and 6?
No, I'm just saying that 6, we're saying advise select board, planning board, and other officials on things that we could use that as a place to provide to include the interconnections to other communities, and it should be active transportation connections.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah, I
we're
can see-
rolling 9 and 11 together, but number 12 can go with 6.
Yeah,
What do you guys think?
and I really want it to be active transportation connections, because it might be that we see a good value in having a sidewalk that just gets to the town line. I know in Shrewsbury, there's a place or two that they're looking at providing an open space for a park potentially that would be close to, very close to the area with the transit-oriented village and the like. And so they might be able to, it might be a park that would be usable by residents of Westborough because it's closer to walk to than something else. And
Okay, so that's,
So why are 6 and 9 separate? I'm seeing more of a point of, what is 11? 11 is all about grants. I would keep the
well,
grants
no, but
separate.
it's not going to be like that. If you look at what the select board sent, like, they already kind of put that in, that with the BWAL to support grant applications, it doesn't have to be, it's just one of the
Okay.
activities,
Okay. So then how is?
which is good. That's good.
6 and, yeah, I don't.
I see what you're saying about 6 and 9 going together.
Yeah. And, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me to have neighboring communities separate by itself.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but putting it together with 6 is what Don is saying.
Yeah, I mean, either one, I mean,
Yeah, okay. And then the last one is about our annual town report, which this may just be one of those things that's understood. Every committee does a report.
I don't know.
I would like to make sure that we have the opportunity,
To write our own report?
well, not only to
do.
write our own
We write
report,
our
but
own
also
report.
that we could at least request this, to the select board to go and present, you know, they invited us that one
Oh, okay.
time, but we should be able to say, look, we feel that there's things of concern or of interest.
Well, we can get on their agenda anytime. We've just thought it was a lot of work and got other things
Ellen,
to
when
do.
we met with them, when we did it last time, didn't they say they were gonna want us to do it like more like quarterly or?
Okay, the way I understood it, correct me if I'm wrong, so they did away with the select board liaison program. There's no liaison, we don't have Mark anymore. I think what they're gonna do is invite the different committees, was my understanding, to present, you know, from time to time, or they didn't give
Right,
a number of times per year or anything, but I think this, we're not being singled out.
Right.
I think it applies to all of them. But,
How is this gonna save them
We could
time?
probably then drop that one.
so, and then I don't think they're gonna like the thing that we came up with, that we would like to hold public informational, public meetings from time to time. I'm thinking about the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, but maybe that would be hosted by the select board with us presenting.
Well, it'd be
So-
nice if we could get the guy that presented today, the two of them to come back. Right?
But, I
Didn't you
mean-
say one of them lived here?
well, it would have to go through the select board anyway, because they're in charge of the streets, so.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think,
they would be
actually,
involved.
I think some of the things we might want CMRPC, in some cases, we may want to do it ourselves, because we may want to customize and really, you know, take some of their data and then strip it down and say,
So, should I just delete number 13?
I think 13 can go.
I mean, they're going to make us write a report for the annual, you know, the annual book. We always write that report. I always reach out to you guys and, you know, what did I miss? What should I put in here? And you always get a chance to review it. Okay. So with that, I'm going to write up a new one that sort of combines everything we talked about.
Yep.
And that's what I'll be working off of at the meeting.
What time's the meeting tomorrow?
1:30. Do you want me to see if?
1:30
Yeah.
tomorrow?
I'd like to
I'm meeting
go.
with a couple select board peeps.
Yeah, we had talked about maybe two of us going.
Yeah, let me ask. I didn't do that. I just found out this morning.
About the time of
About
ours.
that this is
1:30, you said?
1:30.
1:30 tomorrow?
I'll ask. I mean, I kind of wanted another one of us there just because, you know, it's, so there's, it, so what it ends
I
up with,
remember.
two of us heard it.
Right.
In case it turns out like you don't like it. So why'd you do that?
I've already juggled my day once, I can't do it.
Okay, so are we
No,
moving
well, there
on?
can't be more than 2 of us there
Okay,
anyway,
so you're going to go with her.
yeah, if it's okay. I asked about having you there too, Kristen, but I'll try again.
We have our active transportation plan kickoff meeting tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 1:30?
2:30.
So
2:30, so.
Okay, yeah, that was going to be in the update. So I think we're done with this topic. Thank you so much for grinding through all that. I appreciate all of your patience. Next here. Okay, so, were we gonna, I said we should vote on this. So
I think you should send it out to us. Oh, I guess you have to vote on sending it out to you, right?
I make a motion that Ellen take our comments and combine them into a new document that will be used to discuss with the select board, and if possible, send it out to us so that if we spot any mistakes beforehand, it can be.
I know you read everything I send you immediately, and I'll have it done before that meeting, and I can send it out to all of you.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Julie. Any more discussion? All in favor? I'm going to take the roll call. So for this, I need you say your name and yes. Or
Jean Granfield, yes.
Julie, yes.
And yes.
Don Byrne, yes.
And Ellen, yes. Ellen Google, yes. All right, great. Thank you. So you guys will get it before the meeting. How far in front of the meeting, I can't really say, but I've been taking notes here. Thank you for bearing with us. It's now 5:17, and Jean, I know you have a hard stop at 5:30. We're going to go over the downtown
That's all right.
recommendations
I can
now.
go a little bit, I can go a little bit over.
Okay. So at the big public public hearing for the downtown plan last time, the select board decided that they would look to the planning board for recommendations about what to do short-term for the downtown plan. And then I had the idea, maybe the planning board and the select board might like to hear from us on what we might like to see. And I bounced that off of Kristen. She said that would be a good idea. I know that we're not going to agree on everything, but I know there's things we can agree that we can say, these are, set of some highest priority items that we'd like to see in the short term downtown to improve pedestrian and cyclist safety. So to that end, I was reviewing.
So before we do this, Kristen, do you know what the plan is now that Jenny's gone on? What's the feel of this even going forward, or?
right now, we're waiting for the final report to be submitted by Kimley Horn, and that closes out the project. So then, that report will then be reviewed by the planning board, and then they'll be working to make a recommendation and work with select board to see what next steps would be, how they want to move forward with it.
So the final report will be submitted by Kimley Horn to the planning board.
Correct.
So I think what we heard from the select board at the big public hearing is that they don't really have the stomach for the big redesign, and I don't think that's going to happen. So what are those little things we want to see? That's not going to be a complete rebuild. For example, we have long talked about how long that pedestrian crossing is at Milk Street by the pizza place. I'm thinking we can agree that that's one thing we can call out to both boards as needing fixing in the short term. That's an example.
One of the things I thought of is I really like it to be 2 ways by the pizza shop and get rid of the option of coming in on the other side, because you can't see what's coming at you from East Main.
I think we're going to have to be a little less ambitious than that. So,
Ellen, there's Joanne.
We should have that by the end of June,
at the latest.
And did you have something, Adam? Did I see your hand up?
So I sent, no, I didn't have my email.
Oh, okay.
I did send an email to the planning board.
Oh, okay.
Work towards their final plan. If you're not going towards their final plan, there weren't any comments regarding what minor things we could do in the. Sorry, I should come up here
Yeah.
and talk. My fault.
I think my ears are getting a little old.
So Adam Broders, 80 Fisher Street. I didn't have any, I sent an email to the, Jenny Gingrass, she forwarded it to Kristen and I think the planning board. It was a lot of comments about how to improve or how I thought maybe improvements could be made to the current plan, but I didn't have any specific comments regarding the current state that we have and what we'd want to make different right now. I'd have to think about it.
Can I ask you, have you seen the road safety audit that was done for the Rotary 10 years ago?
I haven't read through that, no.
Okay, because that's what
Homework
I
for
was
you.
reviewing. I was here on this committee when we did it, and it had, a few of these things were implemented by the old DPW. This was 10 years ago. It was John Walden running the DPW. It was people who aren't here anymore. But there's other things in here that never got done. That's where I was kind of coming from.
Okay, I'm happy to review that and look at
Yeah.
what some of the suggestions are that haven't been done and see if I have any
I
perspective
know
on
Don
it.
and I are familiar with it. Others may have looked at it. Julie, you got something?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you, Ellen. We've been bringing up the crosswalk over at New York Pizza for at least 6 years because that was also in the complete streets. We need to shorten that crosswalk. I'd also like to see an island put in.
Hang on.
Sure.
Go ahead.
And I think we've talked about this as well before, because it was also on Complete Streets. An island, sort of like an island coming from the train bridge downtown at that same crosswalk, so that people can only turn right. They cannot, so that it separates the lanes in some way, so they can
Yes.
only turn right in the right lane, because so often I see people get up there and then whoops, and they go in front of the arcade building.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that. I believe I just read that in the road safety audit from last year. Did you review that too?
No,
Oh,
I just
Yep.
remember from
okay.
Complete Streets
Separation
too.
of lanes coming from East Main into the Rotary.
I'm not really sure what to do about people making their own third lane. So I live in the High Street neighborhood, and it just happened to me again yesterday, and I've had it happen a couple of times coming out of High Street. So there's a line of traffic, and you're gonna go take a right or a left, whatever, and traffic's backed up. People just decide to make a third lane. They make that right-hand lane before High Street and almost clip you as you're coming out of High Street, because the traffic's letting you go, and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna scoot by.
What do you mean the third, where's the third lane?
There isn't, they just make one.
Well, no.
Well, there's gotta be.
On the
High
right.
Street?
So there's, people start to turn right to go down Milk Street near the Dairy Queen prior to High Street, if you can believe it. It happened again yesterday as someone was letting me turn up High Street, and somebody came in between the sidewalk and the person way back there. That almost hit me there. And I've talked to Sergeant Luce about this a couple of times, because it's happened now 3 times just to me. I can't imagine how often it happens.
All right.
But I'm not sure what the fix is for that.
Third lane at High Street. I'm going to have to talk to you about that. to
Yeah,
get
not
that-
put in, we don't want to put in one, we want to prevent people making their own. And I know there was an accident as well at the end of State Street the other day, where somebody made their own lane again over in front of Napa and hit somebody turning out of State Street at pretty high speed, like,
Okay,
not
where did
even
they
stopping.
hit somebody?
At
They hit
at
a
Napa.
pedestrian?
No, a
See,
car,
You know,
a
we
car.
got
But they're making another lane, like, people are just
We have a fine
starting
line to walk here. Our
lanes.
suggestions have to be on active transportation and not vehicle-on-vehicle crashes. But
I don't think it
I
has to
take
be.
your point.
What I will say is if we talk about necking down the various crosswalks, which we,
Right.
in general, that we can add, because we let it off with active transportation, that to look at into designs that could also provide some traffic calming or directional for the traffic as part of the effort, because it can be all done together, and therefore we're arguing for the active transportation part of it. But if you're going to go and spend the money to do that, let's do it right such that it benefits in other ways
Okay,
too.
yeah, so I know that a lot of your suggestions that seem to be more motor vehicle, if you're slowing traffic down, that's still a benefit for active transportation, so I take your point. But you're gonna have to explain that High
Yeah,
Street
I
thing
will.
to me.
I have an idea, and I just thought of it, and everybody's going to poke holes in it. Let's make the Rotary bigger, give it more grass, give it more trees, take away some of the space that's for a road, so we can't create all these extra lanes.
You're talking about a downtown rebuild.
No, I just
A
want to
Rotary.
I want to expand the road, the green area in the
That's-
Rotary.
That's a rebuild, and we're not going there.
Well, just, you know,
Fine, it's a good idea, but we need
But
to
then we
do
run
short-term
into
ideas.
turning radiuses and all the things that come out
okay,
with
so how about we
making the
make
lanes
an
smaller.
apron skirt?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I just said that what she's suggesting, making the rotary bigger, is going to decrease the size of the lanes, which then affect the geometry
But we
of,
can make an apron, to make it bigger, put in those 3-foot apron skirts so the trucks can still get around, but it makes it rumble, so most cars will stay off it.
Looks, it's already almost 5:30. We need to come up with simple stuff that we all agree on, because we want to vote on this, to give the planning board and the select board things that are low-hanging fruit, basically.
I will give a general one that I'd like to put in, and that is there's a whole bunch of, I'm trying to remember what the term, but basically where you put in temporary by hay bales or cones or things like that, to get people to react to it before, and
Pop-up project.
yeah, pop-up projects. And I mean, things like the Milk Street reducing the crossing could be done, and it could be announced that we're going to, for this week, DPW is putting out some stuff to make it so that you have to go through, and people could react. And, rather than a lot of what we heard was stuff like, this is going to cause a horrible problem, and there's no evidence it did or didn't, and this would be a way to maybe get people thinking about some of these things in a more positive manner and allow us to do more.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Don, I'd also like you to speak about perhaps making Brigham Street one way down. Was that not proposed before? I think you've mentioned that somewhere along the way.
I think there was a proposal at one point a long time ago, but I'm trying to
Because
remember.
it seems to be where a lot of the problems come from, people not stopping at that stop sign and T-boning
Talking
the
about
people
making it
at the
one-way
yield
going in only.
only, and then having people just come out at the light at Wegmans, I'm sorry, Roach Brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't do that with the trucks, the trucks can't make the turn out at that other
that
intersection where
wasn't
the
in
light is.
here. I don't think so.
The delivery trucks, the big ones.
At least it wasn't in the table of
Maybe
potential.
you could do truck only?
I do the quick one.
So then they all have to come out at the light.
She was saying that the trucks
I don't think the
can't
trucks
make
can
the
make those
turn
corners.
radius.
I don't think they can make those corners.
What corners?
If they're
If
gonna
they
have to
came out at the
drive in
light.
between Ted's and Bristol, whatever it is, and do that squiggly road up and then make a left, I don't think they can do that, because they can't go under the bridge. Well, they try to go under the bridge,
Wait, does this have to do with Brigham Street being one way?
Yeah, they can't.
because
she's
how do you
saying
get the
can't
delivery
come out.
trucks in and out of Roach Brothers? That's the only way the delivery trucks can get in and out of Roach
okay.
Brothers. You can't make that one way.
I'm really trying to think of things that are practical
How
now.
about some paint on the road that says when you're coming on South Street, if you're in the left lane, you can only go left, you can't go straight?
It's there.
No, it's not.
I just looked at it. Julie told me it wasn't there either, but I just looked at it.
They just did some painting recently around there.
They did?
Where are you talking?
You know what, it might be a little faded, but it was there.
Oh, really?
Well, what about Milk Street going into the rotary that says if you're in the left lane, you go straight, and if you're in the right lane, you go right?
That I don't know. Is that there?
I'm not sure, but you just jogged my memory. I'd like to remove the parking space, or have that last space on
Oh,
Milk
yeah.
Street for
I'm
police
sorry.
only.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Try again. It's the microphone feedback.
No. The last spot on Milk Street, next
So
to the
what's the-
consignment shop, only for police parking like it used to be, so that people can see trying to come out of there.
Oh, you're saying no parking in front of the arcade except police?
Nope, Milk Street,
Corner spot.
the last corner spot on Milk Street,
Oh, okay.
and maybe the arcade one, like
Right
on
in
that
front,
corner.
right in front of the consignment.
Yeah,
That's a
Right,
good
because
one.
right now, but the pizza place I just walked by, there's a bumper on that curb.
I got a couple to add. I would like to see Sharrows coming into and out of the Rotary from all of the major,
Definitely.
not necessarily in the Rotary, although the road safety audit did say it,
I
but
think they should be in the Rotary too.
it's tricky there with all of the different lane things that we need.
I realize, but the only, I don't like Sharrows, but I will say that,
So you're just talking just the paint markings of them?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
I will say that the reason I'm pushing for Sharrows here is that after the various hearings where people were going, well, there shouldn't be bikes in the Rotary at all,
That's
we
why
need to
I've-
remind
That's
people
why
that
I've been saying we need them.
we need to remind people that that it's legal and they cannot be barred.
So, yeah, with West
Adam has a
Main, I
question.
think it should be down to the high school. East Main, probably up to the bridge at least.
Yeah.
South Street out to,
School.
school, Milk Street, down to the police.
Down to, Milk Street to the
I'm-
fire.
I'm sorry, fire.
Yeah.
Anybody, let me,
We've got a
Ellen.
hand raised out there.
oh, Adam, sorry.
Adam Britters, 80 Fisher Street. I want to second the Sharrows. I've seen a significant uptick in the number of people that yell at me, trying to get me to ride on the bike paths, which are the sidewalks around town, in the past few months. And so I haven't had trouble in the Rotary, but I do think it makes it very clear for people that bicycles are allowed to be there, so that if someone is a little bit upset at the time, they're going to understand that that is kind of the standard. Again, I know it's not perfect, but if we're not going to redo the Rotary for an actual dedicated place, making it clear that that's where they do belong is helpful.
Now,
How about I'd love to get rid of the angle parking in the Rotary.
well, yes. I was just going to go to the parking. So what the road safety audit said was I think it said to get rid of all of the parking in the
But the problem
Rotary,
is,
but
if you get rid of all the parking, the roads are even wider and they're going to create even more lanes
get
of
rid
traffic.
of angle parking in the Rotary.
But I'm still nervous if you
I
do
agree.
that, you're going to get more traffic lanes going through the Rotary.
Yeah, but so you're talking parallel parking in the Rotary?
Yeah, as much as I don't.
Okay.
I'm scared of it too.
The road safety audit also recommended on South Street because, and this may be more a situation of vehicles, but the whole backing out
Yeah, when you don't see
when
no-
you're trying to turn the
when
corner.
you don't know what's coming at you around the corner from the Rotary, yeah, it's a
So-
scary proposition,
It's-
which is why I never park there.
But that's a classic case of one that argue against angled parking for active
Yeah, oh, yeah.
transportation because they'll be looking for a car, but they won't be looking for a bike. And if you try to go down South Street, at least some of that area, I mean, you at least need to be
Well, nobody
out of the
can,
Rotary part of it, before
nobody
you.
can see around a corner.
So I don't know, I can't remember, Don, you may know the road safety audit. I think it was just saying to convert it to parallel parking on that one side of South Street. Now, I don't even know if they cared about converting it all, but certainly those first few spaces.
On this
I
picture
mean,
here, it's all
The first
crossed
one
out.
that the top of the potential safety thing said, consider eliminating parking within the Rotary, period.
Right.
Which I don't think we're going to go there.
I think we're going to get that, but we should
I
get
mean,
rid
at
of.
least down to the Thai place.
Okay, so we want to get rid of angle parking in the Rotary and convert angle parking to parallel parking on South Street, at least on the going outbound right side, the Red Barn side.
The Red Barn side, yeah.
So Ellen, I just want to understand how you're going to word this or how we're going to vote, because I wouldn't be able to vote for that
What?
part of the,
Which part?
taking out the parking.
No, it'd be parallel parking.
I'm still not sure that's what I would vote for.
That's
So when, like,
Now
we might
what?
have to
But the South
do
Street.
specific things to vote yes or no. 'cause
All
I
right, the
couldn't vote.
South Street parking, just a second. The South Street parking, we've already established that that angle parking will come out and hit everything, because you can't see around that corner. This was one of the top recommendations of the road safety audit.
But yet Kimley Horn was putting in a bike lane with parallel parking, I'm sorry, with angled parking on South Street on their report.
Well, not until this, the Thai place farther down.
I think you're talking about the angled parking that's right in front of Shamsuddin's legal office, the corner unit, those first four diagonal parking spots. Is that what you're referring to?
I think they're
So
talking
Those are the
Suzanne?
about,
ones I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That literally, as you're backing out of the parking spot, you are into the middle of the rotary. There's like 4 or 5
is that what you were
of
talking
them.
about? Because you were talking about further down near the Thai place.
I would say angle spots from, yeah, that corner where that law office is, around the corner to at least past Red Barns.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you're in front of Red Barns and you back up, you cannot see around the corner. You have no idea what's coming around the corner and going to nail you with that rotary.
So how many, so that's where you're talking about there? You're talking about South Street coming up here? That's
Yeah, I'm
not where you
talking
were talking
about,
about? Because that's where the Thai restaurant
The
is.
Thai restaurant is, yeah, so about here.
You're talking about Sakihana or the old Thai place that
Oh,
burned
the
down?
Sakihana,
Okay.
because that's essentially what he did too, right?
And
So
you said,
you are all proposing taking all of this angled parking out down to
Yes.
the island?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far I'd be okay going down. That seems like a
Okay.
few too many.
one thing we
Too
can
many
do, because
for
I
me.
think most of us agree on that, except for you, Jolie, we can
And
separate,
over here,
what?
over here as well. Do you agree about taking all of that out over here, or how far down would you say?
I'm with your thought.
Right.
I think that's too much.
We can separate this out as a separate thing and have a vote on that one separately. If it comes to that. I just want to point out there's some procedural stuff we can do here. So how many spaces is that? You said 4 or what? How many?
There's 8 in front of the liquor store. I've counted those multiple
Well,
times.
that's in the Rotary.
Well, actually, maybe we should separate into the 2 things. The 8 that are right in front of the liquor store and the lawyer's store, or you want those?
Those
two?
are in the Rotary. We just talked about getting rid of angle parking, well, converting to parallel in the Rotary.
For leaving any of these spaces. I mean, are you in favor of angle, where is it at?
Can I swipe
West Main,
yours for a
right here,
second?
South
So are
Street.
you,
There's another.
you want to keep
And I do.
angle all in front of the liquor store too?
I mean, I could be flexible with right there into like maybe 4 spots, but I couldn't go all the way
What's your
down.
concern, Julie?
The businesses along there. Being able to pull up in
And
front
that
of the
trumps
businesses.
pedestrian and cyclist safety?
I think I've gone on record that I'm not crazy about the bikes on the
just
Rotary in downtown.
And I don't see how they're gonna parallel park there to tell you the
What
truth.
did you just say
That's
about
almost
bikes
more
downtown?
dangerous than.
I've been pretty open about not really wanting bikes around the Rotary.
Well,
I
bikes
mean,
have to go
so,
there, it's
Right.
state law.
and so
You're
I'm
always
not,
going to be able to bike there.
and you always have been and you still can.
And we need to improve safety if there's going to be bikes there.
I mean, I could see taking out maybe 3 spots there, but not down to the proposed island.
Okay, what proposed island?
There's an island down here in front of like the hair salon. So there's like
On South
however many
Street?
streets are down here on South Street, then there's an island, and then there's other parking down by
Is that
the
the
coffee
downtown
shop.
plan?
This
That's a
is,
downtown plan.
Yeah, we're not doing the
this is
downtown
the Rotary
plan.
audit that I'm looking at, Ellen.
Oh, the Rotary audit, okay. Well, all right.
I know there's an island that people walk across to get from South Street
That's exactly it.
to the
Right.
the place where the horses drink,
Mhm.
and then I go across.
What is this horse drink thing?
I can't think of the name. It's the green thing that they put flowers in that's like 10 times bigger than it's supposed to be.
It's right here.
I would call for them to, I would call for them to review all the crosswalks in the Rotary, or all in the area, and potentially reduce the crosswalks that lead to the Rotary to one, but choose the best one and.
Well, I think that there is only one right now, isn't there? Or didn't they eliminate the other one after the road safety audit?
What did they eliminate?
There's technically two. There's one from Brigham that they sometimes put cones in front of, or horse
One that should
things in
probably
front
be
of it.
eliminated. I thought we had eliminated that. There's still 2 crosswalks going into the Rotary?
Technically,
The
yes.
one on
Yeah,
the,
they're still there.
the one on the side that's closer to East Main Street, like those markings are gone now.
Yeah.
And at one point, the DPW had put up a barrier, but they took that down. But I looked the other day and I didn't see any markings.
I thought that crosswalk.
You used to be able to cross from the other side, and I think that would be a valuable recommendation, is to say, fine, if you need to go out in the middle of the Rotary, there's one way in and one way out, instead of confusing it and giving people multiple options.
One way is that short one right in front of the liquor store
Right.
building.
Yeah.
Right.
And if the parking, if there were like, say, 4 spots removed from that parking, it would give people more access to see the people trying to cross there. And I think there should be some sort of flasher going that way as well.
Well,
'Cause
at least
it's a
what
tricky
we've got
spot.
on, what I've got in the notes right now is we're recommending that it get changed to parallel. Because like you say, the businesses aren't going to like it if we take it all away.
So I'm looking on Google Maps, and there are 7 spots showing between the liquor store bump out at the crosswalk. Then there's 7 spots, and then there's that other little island bump out that leads to the crosswalk to go over to 7-Eleven.
And then there's another, so I know where that bump out, where's the next bump out?
That's it.
Okay, there isn't another bump out.
No, it's right
Okay,
there. So there's 7 spots there. 1, 2, 3.
but there was 8, but.
Yeah, I'm
Unless it's changed since Google Maps here.
proposing that they get changed to parallel.
Just there?
Or remove altogether.
Or remove them altogether,
Yeah.
but
But that's probably,
it doesn't sound like we're going to get there with these
yeah.
people.
So then what's the proposal on the other side of the liquor store? If that, so here he comes in with his business, and all of a sudden we remove the 10 spots in front of his business? Or the 8 on each side? Like, what are we proposing on
On
West
We
Main?
haven't even talked about.
Those still exist. There really wasn't a change on that side. Except they were going to add an ADA accessible spot on that side.
The Kimley Horn report, you're saying?
Right, like the last set of plans that I saw from them, that was the accommodation, that the liquor store could utilize West Main Street if they lost.
So we haven't even talked about
Rotary.
West Main yet, but I agree with Suzanne. I'm sorry, Adam, you had your hand up earlier.
I just had a couple things to kind of add to your thoughts, which is related to the ADA accessible spots. I remember a lot of folks in the meeting being upset about certain kinds of people being able to get to their businesses that were limited mobility. We don't have many ADA accessible spots. And so I view that as kind of an act of transportation, is them being able to get to stores, and them worried about getting spots. We should have some of those near the Rotary. I think that might solve some of the space constraints, because now people that really need that close by access can get it. If you're looking at removing spots around the Rotary, which personally I love the idea of, because I never park there on purpose anyways, I feel like it's a bad idea. You could probably propose alternatives to just making it tarmac. So you could turn those areas into, I recommended a wider sidewalk or something like that. Or if you want a better parking area for bicycles, that might be in that area. Or it could be an area where stores could put out chairs or something like that. So that's an area where you could grow the sidewalk and make the town more travelable by people that aren't in a car. Because otherwise you're going to get your concern of cars using multiple lanes to get around each other. It naturally happens. I would do it without thinking. But if there's a physical barrier, then you can put people there instead of just having dead asphalt.
I think it's a good idea, but I think would be a better approach do a two-phase. In other words, turn it into parallel and say, wait, and then at some point in the future say, wait a minute, we've got extra space here. Should we consider,
A better use.
yeah.
Yep.
But, basically, one is a simple paint job that we can always go, and we can put it back the other way if there's real hardship or something, whereas,
I mean, I do like Adam's idea. We probably should put an ADA spot
oh, yeah.
over in front of the shoe repair place, too.
There-
There should be one in front of the liquor store, too, and we should probably put at least 3 in the Rotary.
You may want to consider it on the main roads around the Rotary, because if you put
Yeah.
it in the Rotary, there's a spot that you may want to remove in the future anyways.
Right.
And I'm just thinking of like people that might have hurt their necks or something that maybe have, an injury temporarily. They may not be able to turn their neck around on the Rotary that easily, so maybe that's not the best place for an ADA spot. But, the closest spot to the Rotary on one of the entering or exiting roads might be a great area to have it, as a thought.
I'm just thinking is if we make more ADA spots, maybe they wouldn't be full all the time, and we wouldn't have the visibility problems in the Rotary, too. And get people used to not parking there. Although I've seen a lot of people park in ADA spots that I don't see any issues with, so, but, I mean, I don't know what the rules are for ADA and how many we have to have. There must be some rules we have to follow for ADA spots, right?
You know,
we don't.
I just want to
I'm
point out
surprised
that
at how few we have.
that we don't have to give them the whole list. We just want to give them some higher priorities.
Yeah, I think this needs to be a
think that-
working list.
What I think that would help a lot there was a page in the road safety audit about putting lane designation, striping, so that you sort of got the people moving into the, wait a minute, you're going around the Rotary, and it's not the cutover at the last moment, here or that, and there's stuff that can be done with, that's fairly low cost for both putting up striping or signage and things to indicate to
It
people.
is there now, but the problem is just, at least entering from Milk Street, it's literally, there's the line where you're supposed to stop, and there's the pavement, or the painting.
Yeah.
You really need to have the painting 100 feet farther away from the Rotary.
Funny you should mention that. The RSA has that in there too.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
got,
That the stop signs are right flush with the crosswalks, and they need to be behind further. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, the paint that tells you which lane to be in,
Oh.
you don't see it until you're at the stop sign. It does you no good whatsoever. By then, it's already
So-
too late. You need to have the
Yep.
paint that tells you which lane to be in
Are you talking about?
right, there-
100 feet before it.
You're talking coming up
Yeah,
on Milk
here.
Street?
Yeah.
in general,
I mean,
there's
there should be a marking. like,
Usually
down
there's
by
a
the fire
sign
station.
too.
Yeah,
It's
there's-
not just relying on pavement markings. You see
Right.
the sign first and then the pavement markings reinforce it.
Yeah.
they actually,
Yeah, I
in
know
the
what you're talking
the
about.
road
I
safety
use
audit
that.
says, consider adding lane utilization pavement markings at each approach in advance of the Rotary to provide.
Yeah.
And Julie, I
Whoops.
think what you were getting at about no striping and painting on which lane to be in coming around by Brigham Street, it is there, but
It's probably
only right there. It's
Yeah.
not in advance. I think that's what you may have been getting at.
Well, for Brigham Street, people don't really
They don't
stop
stop
at
at
that
that
stop
No,
sign,
I'm talking
and they're
about coming
T-boning
in from
people.
South Street, which
Yeah.
lane to be
Oh,
in.
yeah, first.
The markings are there, but I think what I heard you, I think maybe the reason it's still confusing is that it's not marked further back.
Further back, yeah.
And the other one that they actually recommended the audit was put up not only pavement markings, but signs, and that was one that was killed by our then town manager, Jim Malloy, because he didn't want too many signs in the Rotary.
I think the paint is more effective than the signs, because it's like right there, and you're like, oh, the
Yeah, but
sign's gonna.
What they actually said
depends on where
is
the
the most
sign is.
effective is have both. And,
But you have to put both of them 100 feet before you get there.
right,
You
Yeah.
can't tell somebody when they're,
No, no.
when they get up to the road, they're like, oh, I'm in the wrong lane. It's too late.
no, but the advantage of the sign is if you're in a, tight traffic, you can't see the pavement markings, and
Yeah.
We've been at this for a while. Maybe we're not going to get a good list for.
I mean, I think this is a working list. I
Yeah,
don't,
a
I think,
working
But
document.
we
You
need to
guys
give them
can-
something.
Mhm.
And when are they, when's the planning board going to be discussing this?
I don't have a date for an agenda.
Okay, I know they're not discussing it tomorrow. When's the earliest they
Well, they're
might
not
be?
going to discuss it until they get the report to Kimley Horn and
Right.
review it, right?
It's going to be in July, isn't it?
Yeah, there's only one meeting in July, July 7th.
Okay.
And then after that, there's one meeting in August.
So that's the planning board only meets July 7th.
Yeah. Another one that
Okay.
Another one that the road safety audit suggested is that for all the crossings, in the rotary area, put in the rapid,
Yes, yes. I think we should,
flag-
can we
should-
agree on that?
yes.
What is it?
Rapid flashing
flashing
beacons at
beacons.
all crosswalks.
So July 7th and August 4th are the planning board meetings. And when I spoke to Hazel about how you were putting together, you just wanted to make sure you didn't miss your opportunity to provide your recommendations. Whenever they do decide to put it on their agenda, we'll make sure to invite you to that meeting.
What do I get out of
I
this?
think DPW will dislike this one, but I'll add it, or at least suggested. One of the things they suggested was rumble strips in places so that, to try to help direct the traffic. In other words, if you're going to be going into one of those, shifting lanes, let's provide a place where you do and you don't hit the rumble strip, but otherwise you hit a rumble strip or something which still means that,
Where would that be? Coming in from East Main? Coming
Well,
in
the
from
rumble strips
South?
is
basic,
Coming in from Milk?
kind of like my idea of making the skirt a rumble strip around the rotary so people give it, some width.
yeah. And even providing rumble strips to sort of say, wait a minute, slow down and stop, as you're coming into the rotary or things. And
How do we
I'm not
feel
saying,
about,
but it's worth at least investigating, I think.
I guess it's getting kind of late here.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to jump ahead here. I know you guys all sent me your availability for the next meeting.
Oh, we haven't done her. Do you care about the vice chair stuff? We can.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but here's where I'm going about the planning board stuff, and if we want to have a final vote on this after I've written the stuff up and we've got something that we can all take a look at. I can meet on July 6th. I think not all of us can. Who can?
I can.
You can?
As far as I know, I can.
Yeah, you said you could come anytime.
July 6th is a Monday?
But I don't think they'd be able to put it on, it wouldn't be on, we don't know if it'd be on the planning board agenda either way. If we voted on something on the
We'd
6th.
be ready if it is on the 7th, and we'd still be ready.
You can
if it's
submit
on
it
the
whenever
11th.
it's ready.
I'm sorry?
You can at least submit your recommendations as soon as you have them,
Yeah.
regardless of if the
I
meeting's
know
been
that's only
determined.
3 weeks away.
Do July 6th.
I can.
I'm away.
I knew somebody was.
What about the next week, July 13th?
I'm gonna be gone.
You're gone, okay.
Okay, well, we'll get to our next meeting, but I just wanted to see about that.
I'm gonna head out.
What's that?
She's got to wait.
Thanks so much, Jean.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've talked about not raised crosswalks, but like a gradual thing, like say at Roach Brothers, they have those.
Like a speed hump?
Yeah. I'd like to see those at certain ones, like maybe Milk Street.
Both sides?
Perhaps. And that one that goes in the middle from South Street over to 7-Eleven. My hairdresser's over there, and she's seen a lot of kids almost get hit across there, crossing
Good
there.
idea.
Yeah, a lot of kids go straight from the high school to Roach Brothers.
And that might need and that obviously needs a flasher too, because you got to get the attention. There's 2 lanes there, and everybody's like
Yeah.
jiving for
That's a
their
hard one to
position.
cross. I never
think-
crossed there. I always cross long before I get to the
Actually,
rotary.
I
so
think
can
that was
avoid
one
it.
of the road safety audit actually recommended getting rid of that particular
That crosswalk?
the crosswalk over near the 7-Eleven.
And then
but
move it
How would
down
you get
further,
across
but
the
people
street
will
then?
still
You have
cross
to go
there,
all the way
though.
up the block?
I think they were thinking of moving it back or something, but I don't.
Oh,
There
okay.
I mean, there is one down by South Street, but you'd have.
It's too
go
It's
far.
a
by the
longer
South Street
walk,
down-
but
yeah, you'd have to go
that's what I
back.
normally do. But
So your impression was that it was just moving it a little bit further back?
yeah, I think that was, I don't know,
But
but
it's already there.
that's
is
why I
one
was
back
sort of
there,
saying, look at all the crosswalks, and in general, because I suspect they can do better.
I think this is going to be our major topic at our July 6th meeting.
Yeah, I think we should all come up with some other ideas and.
We want to come up with those things that
Yeah.
But
that
this
are
is a
not
pretty good
whole
start.
rebuild, but
Can you send that all around to us, the notes that you took, so we can all kind of,
well, I have to write it up
Yeah.
somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure I captured everything.
I'll forward the ones I have and then.
Oh, okay, that'd
you
be
can
great.
Well,
send
everybody
your-
forward to me and I'll put it in the minutes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but I need it too, if it's going to be a document that we're going to work
Yeah,
from next meeting.
Okay, are we moving on for
Maybe you
now?
can create like a Google Doc and you just throw up the ones that you took notes on, and then Julie can go in and each committee member can add to the document as they think of things, and then you can review that at your meeting.
A good idea.
Box. I don't think I've ever set anything up for other people.
Yeah, I'm not big on Google Docs because I have to have a Google account, which I don't do.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, well, just send them to me then, and I'll send it around. And then you guys can revise it again.
Mhm. Moving on?
Grudge on the 375 million.
Okay, then I think that's the way we're gonna have to leave it for now.
So there's no comments just for 228 Ruggles Street, right?
No, we don't have any site plan reviews.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave it as
Yeah.
no comments at this time.
There's nothing.
And are we going
I
to do
don't
anything
think-
with this vice chair thing?
Yeah, Julie wants to be vice chair.
Oh, okay, cool.
We skipped over this last time. You still want to be vice chair?
Sure.
So Julie had the idea that, hey, the select board has a vice chair, we could have a vice chair, and that way it's automatic that if I'm not here, she can chair the meeting, which is, I would have asked you anyway, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually a good idea because we've had situations where you've been out of town and sort of like something came up and we even
Yeah, and I'm
wanted
a-
to call a meeting and it was like,
Right.
having a backup.
Yeah, so I feel good about
Do we
that.
have to elect to make a motion?
To
and-
make a
Yeah,
motion.
there has to
Okay.
be a motion.
Okay, so Suzanne moves, oh, wait a minute, how am I, freaking, why is it underlined and capitalized? Suzanne moves that Julie Squires.
Thanks, Adam.
Be vice chair. Don seconds. Sorry, Don, you're getting, because you're the only one else to do
Can I
it.
suggest that we say that we create the position of vice chair and the first one be Julie or something? Just so that,
Where we used to have a vice chair when I was the chair a long time ago.
We
I can't
create
remember if
the
we did or not, but
position
there were so many iterations.
chair.
Yeah, I don't remember either. So Don, so let's say Don moves that we create the position of vice chair, or, well, you moved it, he amended it.
Okay, so Don moves that we create the position of vice chair and.
Nominates Julie as the
and-
first.
Okay, and nominate.
Or for the position.
Nominates Julie
you put it?
Squires as the first vice chair.
That works for me, but
Okay,
just do it
so-
as one.
So you just got to figure out who wants to move and who wants to second that. of you two.
Suzanne seconds.
Whatever, either way.
All right, any more discussion?
Okay.
All right, all in favor? It's going to be a roll call.
Squires, yes?
Yes, Suzanne.
Byrne, yes.
Ellen Google, yes. All right.
Someday I'll learn how to spell unanimously.
Finally, we're to the updates. And Joanne wanted to hear about Otis Street. She's gone, but she'll have to watch it.
Is he still recording up there?
Yes.
I think so.
my God.
Should be.
Okay, assistant town planner. The first thing on my list is on your list? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not
Well,
running the
it's
meeting.
on the agenda.
Just trying to push it along.
So, yeah, it's your updates.
So for the active transportation plan, we have the kickoff meeting with VHB tomorrow on Tuesday, the 16th. Don is going to attend.
So we never had the meeting on the 15th or the 22nd?
Right.
No.
Got
Okay.
postponed.
Is waiting to find out, okay. So you got the, when did you get the final sign off? You said you're waiting final sign off. I assume this means you got the final sign?
Correct. All the contracts have been signed.
And when did
So,
you, that happen?
I'd have to look up in my
Okay.
Doesn't
documentation.
matter. Happened since the last meeting.
Yeah. Everything's in place. We coordinated with all the parties. Christy, the town manager, Fred, the community development director, myself, and Don Byrne will be there along with the VHB staff.
Okay, so Tuesday, tomorrow then, right?
Correct.
How did what do I have here? Tuesday, June 16th, 2:30 PM, right?
So I will pass along whatever information comes out of that meeting as far as the project plan and when things are going to happen. And
So do you have a
Next
list of
steps.
people? Because, so meeting will include Fred, Christy, you, and anybody else?
Don.
Anybody else?
that's it on the town side. Then it's just VHB staff.
Sounds good.
Who, which staff?
Fred.
VHB. V is in Victor.
Oh, okay.
HB is the consultant.
I used to remember Vanessa,
Okay.
Hugans, I can't remember the third.
Yeah, Hassan Brusson or something
All
like
right.
that.
What else you got for us, Kristen?
Let's see, nothing on BWALT. Friends of BWALT, on Wednesday, I'm going to the Arrive community. They're hosting a community meeting so that we can share information on the Otis Street Corridor project and how that will affect them. We just want to make sure they're aware that crosswalks are going to be installed and sidewalks that will take them across Route 9. So that information meeting is on Wednesday. So that'll be good, because
What's
then
that got to do with, or, I'm
Friends
sorry.
of BWALT is the one that reached out to them. And then I said I would go and support to answer questions if anything comes up. Because they wanted to make people aware of the Section 1 of the BWALT that's going to happen. And then at the same time, we can kind of give them all the other information.
Kristen, I have a comment on that. I think you should be prepared to talk about the crosswalk that is near Arrive that goes to Walmart, because I had someone approach me about that recently.
Right. Yeah, that's on the plans. So-
What is the plan for that?
They're going to make a sidewalk connection, so from crosswalk to crosswalk. If this is Arrive, there's like a place to cross where their driveway is. So as you come out the driveway, then you take a right, and the Walmart driveway's up here. So right where that driveway is, there's a crosswalk that goes across. And then there's also another crosswalk on the other side of Route 9. And so the connection of those two crosswalks will have a sidewalk in between. So any of the areas where you can get to a crosswalk across Route 9 will have a sidewalk to get there. So we have that plan sheet that we're going to share with them.
So it sounds like they're moving it and it's going to be kind of safer because it's sidewalk to sidewalk.
Yeah.
Is what I hear her saying.
So the crosswalk will be down by the light?
No, it'll be
Up
by the
Up by their
driveway.
driveway.
They're gonna keep the current crosswalk, they're gonna put a sidewalk along.
Oh, okay. Because that crosswalk wasn't a legal
Otis.
crosswalk, right?
There's one crosswalk that's going to go from around the Arrive driveway to across Otis Street onto the Walmart side. And then there'll be a sidewalk that comes down and takes you, you know where that little traffic island is? Where people take a right? There'll be a crosswalk that goes across to that island and then continues to the other side of Route 9.
There's going to be a sidewalk on the west side of Otis Street is really what they're adding, and they're leaving the the crosswalk in there, which is technically one that was never approved by the state, but
Well, the state approved this whole project.
So they must have approved this one then.
Well, but the state just approved this project, what they're doing.
Okay.
so, yeah.
Okay, so,
Okay.
yeah, because people had asked me that, and
Okay, so I have a question. So
good to know.
the Campaign Institute growth, are we still doing those meetings? Are you still attending those meetings?
Champions Institute?
Yeah, the champion.
Yes.
And any
So-
update there? Or-
I wasn't at the last meeting, I was out of town, but those are on a bi-weekly basis, so I have another one this Wednesday. They've just been talking about various, the one I missed last week was funding, but I have access to the recording, I just haven't viewed it yet.
Okay, so they're still continuing, okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Zero plan, I still don't have anything new to update on the bike racks. We don't have that notice to proceed yet.
so there's no update on the Vision Zero then, so, okay.
No.
No, the bike breakfast and all that's gone, right?
The what?
The bike breakfast, you had,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no
Yeah,
bike
we didn't-
breakfast.
We didn't move forward with that this time, but we'll talk about that maybe towards the end of the summer or early fall.
Now, this is one I added, the speed feedback signage, and I
So
just,
before you go on, the
sorry.
bike racks, you still, the state hasn't signed off?
Oh,
You know, do you hear anything from them?
No, I reach out to them and they say no update.
but they already signed it. It was just waiting for, and then you had to redo it, didn't they?
Yeah, then they made you redo the paperwork and everything, right?
Right. I think what's happening is on the state level, they keep changing the contract paperwork, like certain sections of it. So every time we would sign it, they'd come back before it got signed off on their end and say, oh, a revision was made, so now we have to sign it again. And we went through the process several times. But at this stage of the game, there haven't been any new changes that I've been made aware of since we signed it last. So the complicated part is it had several levels on their end that it had to go through in order to get a notice to proceed. And I don't have access to that. I can't see where it is in the pipeline. So I reach out to my representative and ask for a status update, and he says we don't have our final sign off yet. So we just have to wait.
Wow, okay. So next thing on my list is the walkout at training.
well, I'm going through the agenda, okay? We had speed feedback signage next. And I put this on because there was a grant that the police applied for one of those signage, and we had a recommendation for them to put it at Denny Street, right?
I can't remember where our
Yeah, because
recommendation
of the coming
was.
down the hill
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. But
Was it a
And-
permanent one, like
I'm
West
sorry?
Main, a permanent one, like West Main Street?
they
By
can
the
move
golf
it around,
course?
I think, but it was a grant for this, and I was going to ask Christopher an update, but she hasn't been in touch with them, so she's going to follow up on that.
Oh, this is the, not the, and the grant, so well, they got the grant, right?
My understanding, so initially we were going to apply for it, and then it was made known to us that the police department was also planning to apply for it. So we stepped back and said, go ahead, you've already done, collected all your data, you were going to apply. And then my understanding from the state was that they had enough to at least give any town that asked for it one. So I don't think it was a matter of you might get it or you might not get it. They could at least give us one if we applied. But I don't, like Ellen said, I don't have an official, like they were awarded it and
'Cause
when.
I assume they got it, and then my question is where'd they put it? That's what I'm interested in. So then it's other updates. You wanted to ask about walk audit training, right, Suzanne?
Yes.
So
that
August 28th is the date that we landed on with the other communities
Oh.
to do the regional training.
Get that grant?
Well, we came up with a solution. Each town is contributing money towards the cost of the overall training, and then the balance is going to be picked up. Brendan Kearney from Walk Mass said that they have an arrangement with MAPC, I believe. Somehow they're able to incorporate funds that they have to cover the balance.
Why would MIPC want to cover this region?
It has to do with a regional aspect of it.
Yeah, but we're
where they
not in
can-
their region.
28, but I'm not sure.
But the Walk Mass is providing regional training, so it's under their purview.
But MAPC will pick up regional training partly for something outside their
Yes,
region.
now I don't have the contract yet from Walk Mass
Okay.
that stipulates, what all the specific arrangements are going to be. But when we had our team meeting, they proposed that the training could happen, taking into consideration all the funds that the town was able to come up with. Not every town was able to give the same amount of money, so there was a balance. And like I said, he said they have that covered, so
But did we get the AARP grant?
no, we did not get,
Okay,
we
so
did not get
We
any,
heard that we didn't get it.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
I think we talked about that at the last meeting.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't have an
I
update for it,
didn't
yeah.
remember that.
You said August.
August 28th is a Friday. It'll be in the morning, so half-day event. We'll meet at the Bay State Commons where the rec center is, and then we'll do a walk audit where we go out and we make like a loop, like a 1-mile loop type thing as part of the training. We don't have any more details besides that at this point, just that everybody was on board for that date, and we'll start getting the contract in place and making other logistic arrangements.
Thank you.
Okay, great. And then the only other one is if there's anything for Safe Routes to Schools from either of you?
Can we go back one? So the group that got the grant, that then decided not to share the grant with us.
Oh, you're talking about CMRPC, so the same people that came here today, they got a grant for themselves to create training materials that they make available to the CMRPC region.
So are these people contributing anything to this?
The
or are they
material.
attending?
They're creating the toolkit.
But they're still coming and they're getting to attend for free.
Well, they're just
Facilitated.
witnessing and observing to create their toolkit.
Excuse me.
What did you say the cost was to each?
Well, it's
Yeah.
$5,000 total.
Mhm.
And so each town, we're making it so that it's even amongst all the towns. So I think it's like $500 a town.
So there's 10 towns?
No, there's 5
Oh,
towns.
5 towns.
And then that balance would be covered by
Mhm.
the MAPC.
So it was 500 per town.
Correct.
Oh, that's really small.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
it's not-
And 5,000 was the cost for walk.
That's what the facilitator is going to be charging to do the trainer.
Great, thank you.
So my only thing on Safe Routes to School would just be my concern for the change in parent pickup drop-off that we witnessed when we were at the select board, that it didn't go through channels of like the fire department. I don't know if they spoke to the police department, and it didn't come through us, and then the select board just voted on it. Like, I would have loved for, when it got on the agenda, for us to be notified. Like, I think I'd like to discuss that with the planning,
Yeah, I
with the
was there
select board.
too. I,
They even mentioned that it was like a missed opportunity, yet we were all there, but they didn't call on any of us. So it seems like, again, a communication breakdown. I did reach out to the principal and to superintendent just to say that a couple of the concerns that I have from being on the walk audit, and that I'd be willing to have them come out and take another look at, their recommendations on their new drop-off spot.
take a look at their proposal against the walk audit that was done.
Maybe just do like a short little walk audit of their new proposal, just to make any, for them to make any recommendations. Particularly, my concerns were that crosswalk going to Grant Street.
Do you think it's worth reaching out to them?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah, I sent them a letter,
okay.
so I haven't heard back anything.
The thing that concerned me more than them not talking to us was they didn't even talk to the police.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they did the police, but I know they didn't the fire department, because they were there and they said,
Well, the fire department, yeah, they're not as involved.
well, if it's a fire lane.
If it's a fire lane, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're down in the totem pole,
But the other thing is,
yeah,
I remember when I was looking, the school committee has not posted a single meeting for all of this year.
okay.
Really, their
There's no way
minutes?
we would have known they were doing this, even if we'd been looking.
Well, it was on the select board's agenda.
Yeah.
That's how we would have found out, and that's how we did find out, but you know what she's talking about, right?
Not necessarily.
I can't even remember the
Yeah,
proposal,
so-
but
Went to a meeting.
the school committee came to, or the school board came to the select board to try to have the permission to have a different drop-off configuration
At which
over
school?
by,
Armstrong.
By,
Armstrong.
not Hastings, Armstrong,
Armstrong.
on West Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just strange, like, we were all there at the meeting because they were talking about our committee, but like, we were never
You wouldn't have known
approached
otherwise.
about it. We
So
didn't know that
what's
was
the
happening.
procedure for reaching out?
Yeah.
Do you have a relationship with them? Is that Kristen who?
I mean, I did reach out to them. I mean, and you and I met with Allison about all the safe routes to school. I don't think I'd met the new principal at Armstrong, but I did reach out and offer to help bring safe routes to school back for another look.
Would that be Julie sending an email to them and copying you on that, Kristen?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's just awareness, understanding that there's a committee in place that advocates for these things, and it's not intentional, but it's just an oversight that they didn't involve
Well,
you
I
in the
think what Julie's
communication.
getting at is a little more proactive in this case, is that giving them an opportunity to discuss what's in the walk audit and seeing if there's improvements to be made?
Well, I think that, so they've changed the parent pickup drop-off, so I would like to have I requested or suggested that we have safe routes come back and look at the new proposed area to make their recommendations, because they're moving it from the other side of the building. It was not there before. They
so
did make recommendations on the safe routes to school, which we have not implemented on West Street
You made
prior.
this recommendation verbally at that night when we saw them.
I sent a
Yes.
letter this week.
You've already reached out to them,
Yes.
okay.
Now, do you know where their recommendation came from? You don't? Like, was it just their facilities person making the recommendation, or what,
I
did they
think just
maybe
the
have?
principal and the superintendent came before the board. I don't know where they really,
They had, it was kind of clear they hadn't looked at the route, or the.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
sounded like it was sort of facilities and maybe the principal, but
But
not.
it didn't necessarily seem completely incompatible with the walk audit either, did it?
not particularly with the walk audit, but there were recommendations made at that walk audit, even to like that crosswalk, for example, that was never done. And now that if they're going to have more cars there, that needs to be addressed. There's no flasher at that crosswalk. It was recommended to raise it up a little bit or color it with brighter colors so people would look at it. Those are on from 2020.
So if
But
you,
West Street, they've limited, cars are only allowed in their certain areas at certain times.
At certain times, yes. So there needs to be enforcement on that, because I've had 3 kids go through there, so I was there 9 years straight, and I can tell you people came down all the time. And then my other concern was that I've seen it at Gibbons on Fisher Street, parents stopping on the wrong side of the road and dropping their kids off and just having the kids jump out and run around the cars, which would be like 2 lanes of cars for little kindergartners through 3rd graders, which you'd like to hope that people wouldn't do that, but I can guarantee it will happen.
when you hear back, is there somebody else you want to pull in, like Kristen?
Yeah, probably Kristen. We can talk about that with them. And that's all.
That's great.
Well, what came out of the select board meeting then when that
They
was
approved it.
presented? Oh, they
They
did.
approved it, but there was a lot of questions because not even sure everybody knew
I think it was
where they were
someone on the
talking
select
about.
board said, hey, what about the walk audit? Wasn't,
Yeah.
one of them brought it up.
Yeah.
I think Julie's only concerned about, this is done, how do we make it better?
Right.
And how do we get some
Make
of
sure
the
it
stuff
doesn't
at the
happen in
same
the
time
future.
from the walk audit? I think that's where you're coming from, right? Yeah.
But you mean, like you pointed out, the police and the fire department may have something to say too, and they weren't
Yeah, it
included
seems like
either.
they were missing a step or two
Yeah,
before
so- yeah.
it came to
It's
the
like they
select
needed-
board for a vote.
they
Like,
made the
I wish
decision
the
in the
select
past.
board had said, had you talked to the fire department, police department, or the active transportation committee? So I was a little surprised that they voted for it.
Surprised, I would have been happier if they had pushed it back and said, you guys need to go do your homework,
Yeah,
come back next month.
right.
They
So-
didn't. I
yeah.
don't know why
So
they didn't.
we
but-
still got one more thing. I don't know if, so sorry we've kept you so late, but Joanne did bring up the Otis Street. I don't know if you wanted to give us an update on that, if you know anything.
Yeah, the only thing that I know, I mean, we have like a weekly update meeting with the construction company, and DPW is running lead on that project. And when she said that that is correct, they're starting, they put the message boards up. You might have seen them on Route 9, giving people a heads up. They will be starting at the limit in front of the Amazon, the main Amazon building. That's where it extends till. They'll start there and move towards Route 9. I believe the reason for that is because of all of the requirements and things that have to be in place in terms of when they can work, when they can't work, and the permits that they need from DOT to deal with Route 9 takes a long time. And so instead of starting there and having to have all that in place, they're starting where they can get work done now. And so the first, like one of the items in their to-do list, they met with the National Grid and the different power companies to stake out where the poles are going to go and how they're going to change, and that will all start to happen further down Otis Street. So that was the reasoning behind why they were starting there and moving up.
Yeah, I know they were cutting trees today.
Actually, I have one more thing too. I just remembered this one. The DPW is starting the Ruggles Street sewer project. It was slated to begin today, actually.
Yeah, because there's signs on Ruggles Street now.
I'm wondering if we can find out what they're going to do about the crosswalk that we want. Is that something you can investigate?
I can check with
The
Chris.
other thing, so it may be that it gets done really like way next spring or whatever, but I'd like to know what their thinking is on the placement of that, if they're going to do it, where it's going to go, and if they're going to do those other driveways that we talked about.
What do you mean
know
by
when that
other
project
The
driveways?
two driveways. Are they going
Like
to?
put the
Painting and
painting
stuff.
in?
Yeah, and the curb cuts and,
Okay.
all of that stuff. Because we had 3 items in our article. It was the crosswalk and the 2 driveways, so if we could get an update on that for next meeting, that'd be good. Anybody else got anything? All right, is next meeting date, I know Jean can't make it, but July 6th, okay?
I'm going to be out of town then,
To
too.
be out of town, oh, because you're gonna, I wondered about that. I still think we should meet. Maybe it'd be a limited working-only meeting
Yeah.
for the
Why don't we-
downtown plan. How does that sound?
Sure.
Okay, then we'll have an August meeting that will have more everything.
I make a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
In favor.
Thanks for the, sorry, I hate long meetings. I never want to do them, but all of this
Sometimes you
stuff
have
really
to.
couldn't wait.